best character. You kidnap a kid off the street and put him under the knife and say, "Hey, how does jutsu work?" That's my goal. That's my goal. All right. Welcome to the second revisionist history. Today we'll be talking about the series of Naruto. Revisionist history for anybody who's new here. Basically, what we'll be doing is we'll kind of be going through completed manga that have a certain type of reputation and, the way people talk about it, and basically talk about whether we believe that that series deserves its reputation or not. We did Bleach already, and now we are here doing Naruto. How's everybody doing?
A little something like eeny, meeny, right from the beginning. Smoke a little pack, but the pack never timid. Church, but I'm seeing it. Curse when I'm winning. She need a new back. When it's back, I'ma bend it. Slap up some guinea. Pass me the hen it. Watch a nigga black slipper yak, I'ma quit it. Swerve in the Benzie. Perfume is Fendi. Bobbin' move fast, real fast like I'm Ricky. That's 'cause I'm pretty. Came from the dirt. Shovel up a nigga, can't handle the work. Ooh, y'all, swing with it first. Young white girl like a ramble.
Hey, disclaimer: if you're a Naruto fan and you are a sensitive person, prepare to get up out of here because some feelings gonna get hurt.
He-
That's
he-
all I
I'm
gotta
gonna
say.
add to that. Pat was saying that nicely. I was gonna say it way worse.
I'm gonna try to be, I'll do my best, but I
Fair
got a
and
lot of hate.
honest.
I got a lot of hate in my heart, but I'll do my best to rate it in what it is. But I'm telling you, when I get to that Obito guy, or any Uchiha, I'm not holding back. I hate all of them. Tobirama was right. I have no problem with him. Best Hokage. Let's get it.
That's
Well,
crazy.
He was right, man. They got the chemical imbalance. They had to go. Okay.
The Nazis of Naruto. Let's go.
But all right. So first thing I'm gonna say, we're gonna start with some general discussion and stuff, and then we're gonna hop into some main topics. But yeah, how did you guys first start like not get into Naruto? Like, how did you first start it? Like, if you remember kind of your origin story with it.
Let me start.
Go ahead, brother.
Shit, man, let me tell you. Shit. So one day I was chilling, you know, doing semi things. Then I exercised my exclusive younger sibling perk by entering my sister's room unprovoked, right?
Hmm.
And she was watching something, and I don't know what the fuck it was. I seen two little niggas beating the fucking brakes off each other. I said, "Yo, what in God's green earth is this?" I had no idea what the fuck I was looking at, and of course, I wasn't no stranger to anime by now. Been looking at anime since I was in fucking pre-K, but this shit was not airing on no Cartoon Network. I know what the fuck this shit was. All
Hmm.
I see is two niggas fighting. I'm like, wow, this so crazy. So then she put the 2 episodes on my PSP. And the very first 2 episodes of Naruto I seen was Naruto versus Sasuke. And I used to watch that shit religiously.
Hmm.
I watched them two niggas fight over and over again every day until Cartoon Network put that shit on TV. Then I started looking at it on TV. That's my story.
Okay. What about you, Glam?
I
If
don't
you
even.
remember.
I think, honest to God, I think my intro. It's hard for me to remember this, but I think my intro to it was actually the Storm games before
Oh.
actually watching the anime or reading the manga.
Okay.
I think I had seen it in passing, but never knew what it was. And I was much younger, but my actual introduction to it was actually playing the Storm games.
All right.
And then after that, I watched the anime once I had finished those. So I essentially spoiled myself on the whole series through the video game, which is a very roundabout way of doing it. I know, but
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Do what you got to do. What about you, Griever?
Well, I knew about the manga, but I didn't like the art style.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was reading, I was reading other series, and I was very critical. To this day, I try to get around that bias, but I'm very critical of an art style, even if it's a well drawn. If it doesn't vibe with me, then I'm like, I don't get beyond the art style for the for the story and whether it's good or popular or not. And then I saw it, of course, like a lot of people did in the '90s. When we were having the Fox Kids and the Fox Box and shit. Things were
Good
still
days.
just getting outside of the 4 Kids dub, and anime was being dubbed outside of 4 Kids for the first time. And then we had like Naruto and Death Note and Gundam Seed and shit like that. And I was watching, and I watched a little bit of it, and then I was like, "No, this is some of the dumbest shit that I've ever seen in my life. I can't stand any of this." And the only reason I caught up with it around the end of the Pain arc in the manga, or shortly thereafter. And the only reason I did it was because I didn't want to be that dude who said something sucked without actually experiencing it. So then I read, caught up to Naruto, followed the manga, never watched the anime again. Followed the manga to the end, and then said, "Yeah, no, I was right originally."
You said, all right. My first impressions were correct. What about you, Miles?
Uh, I remember this. I was 7 years old. Uh, I remember this specifically because I remember just always watching like occasional anime, like that would randomly come on, like Ultimate Muscle, or like Dragon Ball Z, or
Yeah.
Roni Kenshin. But I remember I had a friend that like used to read manga all the time, and I remember just being like in class, and he pulled out a DBZ thing of Vegeta decapitating Gildo, and I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "This is anime." And then like the next week after, on Tsunami, Naruto came out, and that's when I literally just watched it from like the first episode all the way until like it's like basic end.
Okay. Pat?
Hey, so back in the day,
Hey, hey,
back in
hey.
the
Hey,
day
hey,
when
hey.
when I was a youngin, I used to be on Tsunami religiously watching anime, and at the time I used to be on the internet, and I seen Naruto on Newgrounds, and I didn't know what it was, but they had some games, so I was playing like the little RPG games that they had on there,
Oh no, I know where this is going.
and then one day Dragon Ball Z stopped airing on Toonami, so I was like, "Fuck, what I'm gonna do now?" And then they, and then they showed the trailer for Naruto. I was like, "This looks familiar," and I was like, "Oh, that's the game I used to play on the." Oh, okay, okay. So it came on Toonami. I started watching it, and I was hooked instantly. And I was like, "Wow, this is really 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 good." Then I started getting the games, and I was like, "Wow, dare I say it? I might like this as much as Dragon Ball."
Hey, yo.
And then, well, we're gonna get to the rest when we get to it. But yeah, that's how I got into it.
I kind of got into Naruto around the same time I started like Bleach, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, and stuff. Like I was in that like Shonen Jump phase back when like the so that's what called scholastic spelling in Canada here, where you kind of would subscribe to certain things, and you'd get like for like the school year, you would get the Shonen Jump like mega volume thing like they get in Japan. So I usually just used to read like Dragon Ball and like the ones that I knew. But one time I just kind of went to the Naruto page and I thought it was looking kind of cool. And by then I already knew about the internet and whatnot, so I started watching it online. But it was crazy because I remember when saw it, I registered it back to like this. Is that like orange guy I saw in that DON Battle Stadium game or something like that? I remember like kind of remembering who he was, and I kind of got into it. It's not really an interesting story. I just kind of started Naruto the same way I started some of the other major shonens, but it was definitely amongst one of my favorites for a long time. I was definitely the kid who put who put ankle weights around his ankles on some Rock Lee shit while I'm hooping, and then I got serious. I take them off. I was that kid, so I was doing all that
Did
kind of
you
nonsense.
wait? I got one question now.
Yeah.
Did you do the Naruto run, which is we all know is the Sonic run?
No,
But did you?
I've never really, I've done like ironically I've never really done that run because I'm like this is the most impractical way to run. Like I was a sprinter already, so I'm like this is stupid. You cannot run like this. So I was never really doing that. But I was doing other stuff like hitting your second poles after I scored goals and shit. But I never really Naruto run like that. Not really. No.
Okay.
I definitely
Just
used to
check.
bite my finger and slap the paper though. Be like Kuchiyose no
Oh
jutsu.
hell yeah!
So I did a lot of nonsense. I'm not gonna lie to you, but no, it was a good time at the beginning with my friends, and then things changed over time, which we'll get into. But I was gonna ask you guys started with that anime and manga, but you guys specified that already, so we don't need to go into it. But what are kind of your first impressions when you got into it, just real quick? Because for me, I think I liked it more than everything else that I was experiencing at the time, or just as much, if anything. Like I liked it more than Hunter x
Same.
Hunter. Maybe
The same.
maybe yeah, it's okay. So Everyone else.
I won't say I liked it more than anything else I was watching. Back then, I really can't name you an anime that I looked at and I was like, I'm not feeling this.
Okay.
Almost every single anime that I looked at back then, it resonated with me in some way, shape, form, or capacity, or at least at the time being, anyways.
I would
And
also
I was just,
co-sign what Timmy's saying too. I was very easy to please when I watched Naruto.
yeah, yeah, and shit, I was just looking at it, but again, my very first interaction was one of the best fights in the entire fucking series, so I was
That-
off the gas pack regardless.
That's fair.
For me, the games definitely played a huge part in why I liked it as much as I did. Because when it was airing on Tsunami, my friends were like, "Yo," because this was around the time when YouTube first came. So
Watching it in three
it was like
parts.
you can watch it
A and
on
B's.
YouTube. Like
Mhm.
yeah, like I was already watching anime on the internet, but like I didn't have like a consistent site. And then when YouTube came out, that changed everything. So it was like
Naruto get.
two things coming at the same time, like Naruto coming, YouTube coming. I could watch Naruto on YouTube, and then there was like, oh, you could also watch it in Japanese too. I was like, oh, so when Naruto was on YouTube, that was like my first exposure to like watching anime and sub. So it was like a lot of firsts for me at one time, and then I got the games on top of that too. So I had Ultimate Ninja. I'm playing that shit. I'm watching it on YouTube. I'm watching it on Toonami. Like it was like every day Naruto, every single day.
Okay. the my ear.
イエーイお兄ちゃん
Onicha.
I mean,
Peace,
Peace,
peace.
I mean, I guess yeah, same for me. It's like that.
Mojo
That's my
Mocha.
opener. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of has like their opener, I guess, into like the world of anime.
Mhm.
I guess that was just mine with Naruto. Like that was the first. Like I don't have like a comparative scale, I guess, because I got into Bleach and One Piece way, way later.
Okay. And by the way, speaking of the games, I definitely was a Clash of Ninja merchant. I love those games, man. The GameCube to the Wii ones, those are my favorite. I did like Ninja Storm, but not as much as everyone else did. I like Clash of Ninja more always. I thought I thought it was better. It was
When QTEs were hitting in Ninja Storm, I'm tell you what.
Hey,
nah,
not
but
lying.
yeah, but like they got them little dinky punches. You know, you see me talk about the impact. When I hit somebody in Clash of Ninja and the screen shake and crunch, it feels good. Like it
Nah,
feels
hey,
good.
real quick, I remember back in the day, I'm in middle school now. I've been watching Naruto for like 3, 4 years now. It's still one of my favorites. I go to my neighbor's house. He got a GameCube. I'm like, what games you got for this? He was like, hey, you be watching this? He pulled out Naruto Clash of Ninja 4 and it was in Japanese. I was
Now
like,
I
bro.
got the J God say the JP title.
he pulled out Naruto Gekito Ninja Tyson 4.
Yeah.
Bro, I see that shit. I was like, how you get this? It was like my mom just gave it to me one day.
Nigga,
Oh.
what?
what she know about that?
Did you? My mom? Bruh.
Oh,
I don't
shoot.
even know where his mom was at, but man, I tell you, we was playing that shit for like my entire middle school years, 7th and 8th grade. Like, every day I was at his house. We were just playing that shit.
Mhm.
All right, that game, Hall of Fame.
Now it was definitely dope when you can like go into the background and the foreground and whatnot. And listen, I actually remember some of those stuff because okay, I don't know if you know this. Back in the day, I was a Neji stan, so I used to always hit them with that. It's futile, no matter what you do. I used to be hitting them with all of them shit. But their specials definitely went crazy in the QTEs. But like as I got more and more of the fighting games, I hated shit that was too long like that. So I hated specials that were too over the top and too long. I'm trying to get back into the battle and beat your ass. So I needed the quicker specials. But yeah, I was definitely a Clash of Ninja merchant, and I played all the Japanese ones too. So the one that never came out overseas, over here, I still played them all because there's them all over here where we put the straw hat on, you know what I'm saying? So it was a good time. Definitely had a lot of good memories with that. So what are some of our favorite characters? Some of your favorite characters in Naruto? You give me like 3 or 4, 3 or whatever. I don't really care. You can just give me a couple that you really like and why, if you want.
We're skipping over my.
I'm gonna start though. Wait, who didn't go? Who didn't go?
I didn't go.
My bad. Go. Go ahead.
Uh,
And then
no,
answer your next
no,
question.
yeah, no big deal. I'll keep it brief. My big problem with the first impression of Naruto was when I was in like elementary school, it was cool to be into Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and shit, right? You know, and
It's
because they
cool to
were
be.
the new
Actually,
like
you know what? Cinema was never not cool to be into. Actually, all things considered. Sorry,
what,
keep going. Keep
yeah,
going.
but see, all the kids were watching the same. We were watching YTV and Fox Kids in Canada, so everybody had the same channels. So that's what was on. Like you didn't really choose the shows. The TV station shows the shows for you. Pokemon was there, and
That's not. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
so like, I mean, you might not be into it, but nobody was making fun of you. Blah blah blah. By the time you got to about junior high, and Naruto came out and shit like that, or high school or whenever it was, um, and that shit. That's when you started to separate the groups, and there was like the weebs who would like fucking before weebs were weebs, I guess. You know, they would buy the headbands and wear them at school and fucking have the goth nails and shit. And they'd be really fucking weird, and like you sort of felt awkward, of course, because you're a teenager for getting into anime and saying, "Well, I like Naruto too," because you didn't want to get beat up or whatever it was, you know, and shit. So my first impression of Naruto was all the fucking loser kids were into it, and it was really shitty to try to give it a chance because it's like we're
That's
not
so
kids
crazy.
anymore. They're weird Japanese cartoons, you know, typical high school shit or junior high shit. But yeah, so my first impression was Naruto was not good because nobody knew what Kenshin was. Nobody knew what Inuyasha was. No one knew what Vision of Escaflowne was.
They know what
But
Inuyasha
everybody,
was. That's shocking to me. That was
yeah,
pretty
but
well
no,
known in my like space, I guess.
it wasn't. Well, in Nova Scotia, it wasn't. The big thing that was known was Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon, but those when you were a kid, it was cool. Now, once you got older, and Yu-Gi-Oh, but
Mhm.
now once you got to like around high school, like anime wasn't cool anymore, and the only well-known one was Naruto at that point. Or it was, oh, I remember watching Dragon Ball Z, yeah, when I was 9, you know, and so my experience before even trying to really watch Naruto was a piss poor experience of it. So yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, so moving on to favorite characters. Do you want top 3 or something?
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't
you
Naya gonna go first?
No,
No.
he asked.
Oh.
you can go.
Yeah.
You go first.
Okay.
Just give me like 3, whatever. You can go
All right.
as many as you want.
Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Itachi.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna speak on Orochimaru real quick. Why he's the best,
Sure.
even though I already did. Okay. Actually, just out of curiosity, was there a character you guys really liked at the very beginning, like part 1ish, and then they kind of like fizzled out for you, and you completely stopped liking them or stopped really caring about them? Like I was a Neji stan. Nothing you could tell me about Neji. Even when he kind of came back, like look at him, he a Jonin. They not Jonin. They all tune in. He different, and he sucked. But I just stopped liking it. But just out of curiosity, 'cause I know some people were like huge Gara fans, and when he came back, like not crazy, they're like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. I said that a lot with some of my friends. Just curious.
Yeah, we already named both of them. It was Neji and Gara.
Oh, okay.
I personally
Neji and
like-
Kakashi.
I personally liked
Kakashi.
Gara. I personally liked Gara being less crazy because that for me that was good growth for him. But for me, it's actually Naruto is one I like really.
Oh yeah, him too. But I mean,
Yeah.
that goes without saying. We're gonna lay
No,
into him later on.
no, it doesn't. No.
We're gonna lay into him later on. So don't worry,
We
Glam.
don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Orochimaru, the type of nigga you just see you on the street and just throw you under the lab and put some shit into you, see what do and don't work and kill you. Like he raw. That's a scientist. Okay? We don't need all that morality. We just need to advance the jutsu. We need more jutsu. Better jutsu. Alright? More Geki Genkai. That's all we care about. We're not worried about all that morality and shit. Okay? So that's why my favorite. He was off putting, but I was kind of liked it, but I like Neji more. But Orochimaru I ended up liking like more overall.
You always like those scientist characters, man. You always like those types.
got it,
I
man.
noticed that.
I'm a scientist at heart, man. Deep
There
down
you go.
in my soul.
Oh brother.
But Okay, I hate anybody with a bowl cut. Bowl cuts are the worst haircuts of all time, but I like my guy. Honestly, I do. He got no swag. He got the worst haircut ever, but he punch and kick good. So I liked him. I like Guy a
He
lot.
stared Madara in the face and basically went, "Come at me, bro,"
Yeah.
and it worked. It was great.
That's like kind of it. Like if you force me to like pick other people, I'd probably like Shikamaru or something. But like I like don't like anyone else. I'm not kidding.
So and that's same boner I'm in. Like, yeah, I like Shikamaru too, but like top three. Like, of course, there'll always be a top and a least in anything. But when I look at the cast, I'm just so indifferent on all of these niggas.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I look back at this series, I'm just like, I'm. So I refuse to answer the question.
Oh shoot! All right, what about you? I wasn't saying me. What about you, Pat?
I mean, I have a list of characters that I like, but it's a pretty short list. Probably like 7. If I had to give you 3, the 3 at the top would be Itachi, Minato, and Jiraiya. But as far as the rest of them goes, like Shikamaru would probably be like right after if I had to name another one. I like Guy a lot. I want to like Lee, but like Kishimoto don't like Lee, so why should I like him?
Facts.
Fucking who else? I think that's about it, honestly.
Short list for everybody. Yeah.
Pat, would you agree that? And I think Sarah was saying it too. Basically, like, there's not a lot of characters to love, but like, you don't really hate them. They're just sort of mediocre.
Yeah, no, I don't hate.
Now
a
let's
lot of the
not go
characters
too
in
far
here.
because I hate that entire Uchiha clan. All of them some fucking bozos.
Oh,
Each and
no,
every
no,
one
I'm
of them.
not saying that,
Hatred.
but like, no, but
Hate.
for example, like everybody mentioned
Iki.
Shikamaru,
Hate.
or what
Hate.
about Ginyu? Like, you got and some of the Akatsuki, you know, like, and some of the other, like, that's what I'm saying.
I'm largely indifferent on the entire Akatsuki. I actually think Pain is a bozo and he's a loser.
So do
What?
I. So do I.
Yeah,
So do
I also think Deidara is a loser. Hidan is cool.
Oh, I hate
Kazuzu's
that.
okay. I like Kisame, I guess.
Can
So
someone
yeah,
please
Kisame is
answer?
good.
Listen, I need to ask you a serious question. Is Deidara a man or a woman? Somebody tell me.
He's a
He's a
man.
man.
Okay, finally, after fucking 20 years, I've figured it out. Thank you.
And we're all canceled.
You could have
Well,
googled,
I'm
googled
like,
that, bro. You could have fucking googled.
I didn't want to. I wanted somebody to actually tell me, like, concrete, because
I
was
never
like,
thought he was a girl, but nigga, listen to his voice.
No. But see, I didn't watch the anime. Remember, I told you that. I didn't watch the anime.
Oh,
So
shit.
I
All
was
right.
reading the manga, and I'm sitting there going, like, this dude looks like the one that was bitching at Sakura for Sasuke's affection's mother. So I have no fucking idea.
Don't you see him
like,
topless?
is it a homosexual guy? Is it a fucking girl? Is it a dude who just likes to be a little more, yeah, I don't know. So
I'm pretty sure you see him topless though.
Isn't his like ultimate jutsu to like eat the clay in his chest? Yeah.
Yeah,
right
listen,
before
I had
he
to speak
exploded,
blitz
he was
about
topless.
700 chapters to get through something I didn't like to read. So
that's fair enough.
some shit fell by the wayside.
All right. What about you, Miles?
I have a lot. But I guess top 3 would be Pain, Jiraiya, and Gaara.
Oh, that's why you reacted the way you did.
Yeah, and then I guess underneath I would have Shikamaru, Naruto, and Sasuke.
Shikamaru's
don't
hard to
worry,
hate.
Miles.
I think he's hard to hate.
I'll tell you my reason.
I think Shikamaru's potentially his best written character.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think he has the most complete arc.
Absolutely.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do.
Or Orochimaru, actually.
That was the one time in Shippuden that I was not bored.
I would argue Orochimaru's is weird just because his ending seems kind of like
it's weird, but it's
soft
complete.
Compared to like, I guess like, no one like just cared. Like he just committed atrocities and like we're good. I mean, he did commit very much.
Whoa! We're not adding Boruto shit into this.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's talking about like at the end of the series. Though.
Yeah,
like they kind of just pardoned him.
Yeah,
you know,
but I mean, if
you're cool now.
Yeah, but I mean, if we look at just Shikamaru, right? Like, he starts off as this lazy guy whose whole goal was literally, I just want to get a wife, get some kids, and chill. That's it. which is like a normal, like kind of like enjoyable thing that anybody should probably want. He gets responsibility that he doesn't want, which is a tuning. He leads a team that he doesn't want, and then he goes on, fails his mission, and tries to become better for it. And then we see his progression throughout Shippuden, right? Which is his master dies, and then we see how that affects him. My only issue with the master dying part is that the anime does a far better job of explaining and showing how grief should be done rather than the manga with his moment with his father.
And
And
that's
that's-
probably why I'm way bigger on um um that arc than the other two blacks in here, because Lord knows they was not being moved by that. I was though, but yeah, I looked at it through the anime. I actually didn't start reading the manga until after the pain arc. So
Oh,
actually, I'm
Oh.
kind of lying to you because I on off read a lot of arcs while the anime was airing on Cartoon Network, but the manga being my primary source for the series, like I didn't stop being an anime only a anime dominant for Naruto until I would say, yeah, probably like after during the Hook and Pain arc.
Okay.
But continue.
Yeah, and then we see how that affects him. He matures more, and then we get an actual physical representative of him being okay with it when we see him face off against his master during the war. He takes over, his dad dies. His grief is shown that he can actually handle loss quickly and readily, which is when his dad dies, he's now the one that leads the entire war. Helps them, kind of rocks the Ten Tails quite a bit by like doing the earth signs, getting everybody to do things, and then he becomes the advisor to the Hokage, which is Naruto. Like, it's a pretty good just actual thing. Like his is like there's no excess bullshit of like Naruto coming in and talking and doing this, or like having weird outside interference from other characters. It's he kind of just progresses at his own rate, and it just works.
I agree with that.
Naruto's real best friend, by the way.
Oh,
I agree.
Yeah. I actually agree with
Absolutely.
that. We actually agree with that. I actually really agree with that. Not that fucking
Me too.
idiot Sasuke. Idiot.
But I still
Idiot.
like Gaara, Pain, and Jiraiya more.
Mm,
But
Oh,
Shikamaru is
God.
really, really good.
okay.
Ooh, I got things to say about Gar later on. There's a lot of characters that are on my hit list. We're gonna get to that when we get to it. I'm salivating right now.
All right,
Pat is ready for the kill.
what about some of my favorite moments, though? You have any favorite moments? Actually, I have a
Favorite
question before I get into that, real quick. Because this is something that I didn't realize until Cindy brought it up. When he told me that, people are like, man, but part one of Naruto was good. And in my head, for some reason, I don't know why I did it. I equated half of part one of Naruto with almost half the series. I knew Shippuden was longer. But if it, what is it, 700 chapters? If you had asked me, I would have told you part one was about 300. Or like 250 or I don't know, 300.
Not even
Nope.
that.
That's just like 170 or something like that.
Son, I'm like, hold on. And this is the argument I always make. This is the argument I've been making against more ending greater than sign, more journey ass niggas too. How the hell are you gonna sit here and tell me that you enjoyed or dislike more than 50% of something, but because the end was good, it's good, or because the end was bad, it was bad? Like, bro, part one Naruto, which doesn't fucking exist, by the way, damn fucking Toei.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even it's like a sixth, maybe an eighth of the fucking series. So don't come in my face talking about, oh well, part one was good. So 1/8 out of 700 chapters being good make the whole thing good. Y'all lost your goddamn minds.
That's like, yeah, like when I think about it now, like that argument has been fucking terrible for years, and I used to let him slide sometimes. Like,
Well, I do wanna
People-
say
people
this.
like
It's
it- people
like
like it for the one
240.
moment.
It's like 30-ish%. It's like
People
it's
like it
240.
for the simple reason when Rock Lee dropped the gauntlet in the tuning exams. That's what everybody remembers as one of the big hype moments, and everyone loves the tuning exams. Not just that was like a hype moment in the tuning exams, but everyone thinks the tuning exams were so fucking long for some reason, and they weren't really in the manga. And everyone equates that just like part one Naruto tuning exams. It was awesome.
Shit, not me, but Junior Exams was a good arc. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Like,
You know why it was
wasn't
good?
just Sold, but
You know why it was good?
Oh,
Because he copied that nigga Togashi homework. That's why. Nigga was over here looking at the goddamn 100 exams. He was like, I can bite from this. What they do in the 100 exams? They went through the little forest and had to take the little thing from Hisoka, right? So what he do? Like, let me change this a little bit. Make it the forest of death instead. This nigga not slick, bro. Then they had the little battle royale.
Mention fucking Togashi on here.
We are when it's time to slander Naruto.
No,
I'm not even gonna
Oh,
lie.
oh.
I don't think I ever realized that till you just said that, Pat.
but
Bro,
even like I know that Nen and Chakra are based off something else, but even like with Chakra, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, dog. Especially when they're
Yeah.
like the wind will slice the leaf, and if you're a water, I'm like, I don't know, dog. That's a
bro,
little
the
that's a little too
structure
close
of
to
the
home
It's
for
so
100
me.
sad when
exams
everyone
is
bitches about Dragon Ball Z when Ki makes so much more fucking bullshit sense than all these other fucking ones. Really.
yeah, because you see Toriyama, he know what he doing. He keep it simple. He give you a
Yeah.
reason, then they fighting. This nigga
Yeah.
Kishimoto, he a fucking hack. All he do
Yeah.
is copy Togashi, and when he don't got any more material to copy off, he come up with some bullshit.
Oh man.
And Togashi don't even know what he's doing half the time.
He
But
know
I
what
have
he
to bring up
doing.
that
He
part
just
one
be
thing
lazy.
because I'm like,
Oh,
people used to be like, but at least part one's good, and I'm like, I mean, all right, I'll give you that. In my head, I'm like, yeah, that's like 46% of the manga. No, it's not. Like that's the worst argument ever. But that all being said, I do like part one more. That shit was so loud in my ear, it scared the fuck out of me. Jesus Christ! Thank you for the gifted sub. That scared the hell out of me. All right, some favorite moments in Naruto. Some of my favorite moments.
easy. I got the first one.
Go ahead.
Because even though I have a huge disdain and dislike for Naruto, I will not lie. When I was catching up to the manga, and I read from chapter 1, like even though I knew a lot about it and stuff, I read from chapter 1 all the way through and stuff. And the Jiraiya death moment and Naruto's reaction after the death, the pain and shit like that, that shit hit raw. I was younger at the time, but man, I'm not gonna lie, there was a little bit of wetness in these eyes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nah,
And I
that's
was
one
just
of
Wait,
the
hold on,
best
hold on, hold on, hold on.
moments.
I gotta address this because I don't I tend to not like this argument because I think it's lazy. King of Indie said if you want to use that, then every arc and every ability in media is copied. The basis of power systems aren't that complex. It's over 300 years. Niggas can only write so much, and I don't like that. I understand to some degree everything is derivative, and a lot of things have been done throughout the course of history. I get that, right? Like it's truly hard in a lot of ways to make something that's incredibly original. But the thing about it is, most of the most original stories are people who draw off their own life experiences and stuff like that. I always bring up Toriyama creating Frieza because the nigga don't like what is it, loan sharks or landlords.
He's a
He
loan
thinks
shark.
he's like these are like the worst people in the universe to him. I don't know if he had a bad experience with with rent and shit like that back in the day, but he took his own personal life experience and put it into a fictional story. And to me, that is some of the most creative things you can do. Araki will travel the world, go to Egypt, and study up, and
That's right.
nue fly and talk about that. To me, that's how you do it. A lot of times when people want me to look over their stories and work, you know what they do? Oh, my character, his name is this, and he got like a bit of Batman with a bit of Goku. I'm like, see, all you're gonna do right now is create something fucking lazy and uninspired. It's uninspired is really my problem, not that it takes inspiration from things that we've already seen before. So I do not agree with that argument. You can come up with
No.
something creative, and especially if you apply
Copy.
things to your own life. Hold on, there's one comic book arc that I really like because that nigga talked about the fact that it was one class in in the 10th grade that he created an entire story arc of because he thought that class was so funny and shit, and he created an entire arc out of it. So I can't give you that argument, bro. Anyways, back to the moments. I mean, I'll go then since no. What's one that I
Was
like?
somebody in the middle going or not?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Griever. Sorry, was it you, Griever? Who was going?
No, I was done. It was basically the Jiraiya's death moment. That even though I don't like Naruto a lot, it still hit me pretty hard. Maybe because I like Jiraiya as a character or something like that. And even though I don't like Naruto as a main character, as an MC, seeing the reactions of everybody suffering after the death of Jiraiya and knowing that it happened, like Kishimoto, for all his faults, took the time to give us a couple chapters showing the doom and gloom that happens after somebody who has touched so many lives dies. And once again, I was a lot younger when I read it, so maybe there's a little bit of that there, more emotional, whatever. But that If you can make me cry, if you can make me laugh, you're doing a good comedy. If you can make me cry, you're doing a good drama. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that was actually legitimately one of his best moments.
That was
And at that
Wow.
time, I still liked Naruto at that point, so that was still emotional for me when I saw his reaction to it.
I'll go.
That wasn't moving me.
But
Shit.
I want to say this part one is 30. It's like 33%, so it's not like too little, but I understand the discrepancy. But with the
No.
moment,
That's not enough.
I think this isn't really a moment, but I do think Naruto has one of the best like runs, of time frames within like manga, which is, as Griever said, the start of Pain versus Jiraiya to Naruto versus Pain is one of the best back to back to back interesting fights and character interactions, where you start off with Jiraiya seeing his student and dying to Pain, right? Then we go to Sasuke versus Itachi.
Ass.
Then we go to
Best fight
Sasuke
in the
versus
series.
Killer
Cap.
Then we go to Sasuke versus Killer B. And Sasuke versus Killer B is one of my favorite fights because
Because he got his ass
always-
fucked up. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
there's nothing better than when a cocky main character gets humbled. I've never seen someone get their ass beat twice in the same fight. Ever. I've never seen that. He lost twice in the same fight. Then we go to Pain versus Naruto, which is a great. And
Oh, you said same
this
fight.
is great.
Okay.
I enjoy Pain versus Naruto because, in wise words of my friends, is Pain literally woke up and said, "I want to fuck up a village today." He pulled up to a village solo and absolutely destroyed it, and that's an insane feat.
Our healing.
They have terrible
And I
Hokages
think
in
we
there.
have to respect that. I think that entire run is a very, very good.
Nah, he's not wrong. I mean, the fight
did
itself
like
is
the
not the
Pain arc.
problem. Yeah, it's not the fight isn't the problem. It's what happens afterwards.
I think
Yeah,
I would argue
yeah,
this.
it's
I would
the
argue the
false
problem. The
Pain.
problem I have with Pain is the same problem I have with the end of Core with Kuvira. Think there comes a point in your conviction when you've crossed a certain line, like a certain
Mhm.
threshold, and there really is no turning back. All right. And my biggest issue with I think like obviously the talk no jutsu is just like you just didn't say anything convincing. Like what convinced him? Like I don't understand. Where he's like, you know what?
Not a goddamn
I'm gonna
thing.
put it in your hands, kill myself, and revive everybody else. I was wrong. Like what? Where?
That
Why?
man, he asked him a legitimate
I mean,
question.
He said, I don't know,
said,
but
"In the
believe in me. I
future-
said, there's no fucking way that works.
He said, in the future, when somebody who has been tormented by the shinobi world and it becomes a child of hatred seeks to unleash their hatred on the world, when somebody like that comes along again, because it's gonna happen, because it's the nature of the world that they live in, what are you going to do? Then nigga Naruto said, I don't know the answer to that question, but you're just gonna have to trust me. And he was just like, works for me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
"Oh,
there's-
are you
and there's no
fucking
basis, like,
serious?"
it would be different. Like I agree, Pat. It would be way different if there was any level of proof that Naruto was trustworthy. Like he did one of those. Every single man will decide to save himself before his wife, and Naruto was the one to prove against the experiment. Like if he had shown something in the past that had made him doubt his idea on the world, then sure, maybe we can base him on the leap of faith. But there's no indication that Pain has ever seen Naruto be different than any other ninja. So why would he take a leap of faith on it?
So this is like definitely, I think, one of the most weird points in the series, and I think this is an issue of Kishimoto. He does this a lot, where this even happens in the war with Obito, where like they get Naruto in like a pinch, and Naruto actually doesn't know the answer, and instead of like rather like formulating a good answer and like seeing growth, we're really left with nothing.
Yep. Every time.
And I think the Pain thing is weird because this is how I see it. Kishimoto sets up all his villains the same way. And it's Naruto, Sasuke, and all the villains are the actual same character. They're all the same person. And it kind of reminds me, have you guys ever read like The Alchemist, like in school or whatever?
I had an English. What the fuck? I want to say why would I call it art? What the fuck was this shit called in class?
Project.
Huh?
Literature?
No, no, no.
Writing?
What do we call like arcs in class? What the fuck?
Book report?
No, no.
No,
It'll come to me.
arcs
Keep
in
going. You
class?
keep going.
How
Keep
do you
going.
know
Just
what
keep
that
going.
is?
It'll come to
Arcs
me.
in
It'll come to me.
Master?
Just keep going. Keep going. Just keep going.
I've read it though, but it's been a long time. So I
But-
don't remember.
You did
It's-
snippets.
okay, but you know that comp, like the thing of like where it's saying in the Alchemist, where it's the beginning of the journey is the easiest thing, right? It's like you get beginner's luck, right? Where it's like, oh, I got the job I wanted. Oh, I made the friend I wanted. But the more you go on your path of whatever you want, the harder everything gets exponentially, and it's like you'll almost never reach it. Like you have to have like some level of like conviction. Where it's everybody Naruto was good, right? Everybody,
Unit.
they
Sorry.
didn't-
Yes. Like. Oh yeah. This unit.
yeah,
We're doing the unit of this. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry. Keep going.
and everybody wanted. No one was really bad. Like everybody wanted a good thing, and they all had extreme measures or like usually good intentions and way of going about it, and things switch. Naruto's supposed to be the indicator of, hey, this is the guy that will not turn back or will not like that will always continue on this set goal. And that's why everybody's supposed to look at Naruto and say, this is what I want it to become. And you kind of see that with Pain, where Naruto says the line and he remembers Jiraiya writing his book like with him, and it's like that line of like, I forget like what's your name, yada yada, and it's like, what do you want to be, like something of peace. Now, do I think that's a poorly execution way of him like reviving everybody? Yes, without a doubt. But like I think it's just like Kishimoto's way of just like viewing everything is just so much different from like other mangakas and like their villains. So it's just a weird thing overall.
I get what he's trying to do. He just fucking sucks at it because
sorry,
the theme
but
of his
using-
series is
I'll-
forgiveness.
Pat, can I just say one thing? I think using
Go ahead.
a theme to justify bad plot or bad characters is a poor argument to try and say why it's good or not.
That's what I'm saying. He fucking sucks at it. like I understand the theme and like what he's trying to do here, but like the way he executed is just so
You
bad.
can also not agree with the theme as well. That's the problem with using theme as a justification for a character and setting and plot.
Do you guys? So would you guys say that he handled the cycle of hatred poorly?
Terrible.
Yes.
We'll get to that. But okay,
Absolutely
but we'll get to
terrible.
that. But give me some more moments before we move on to the next thing.
I guess I'll go next. So, this was like when the series flipped on its head for me. Like I was digging Naruto at first, but like I wasn't really like going crazy over it. But when the motherfucking what was it? And the invasion of the hidden sand was over with, and the tuning exams was over. I was like, okay, Naruto was a pretty decent series. I'm liking it, bro. When this nigga pulled up to the Leaf Village in that black cloak with the red clouds, I was like, who the fuck is this? He fucking came in there. He pulled up his hat. He had a Sharingan. I was like, oh shit. They pull up, talk about some Itachi Uchiha. I was like, Uchiha? Is Sasuke brother? They say he wiped out the whole Uchiha clan. I'm like, bro, so it was him. Asuma and Kurenai over there fighting Kisame and Itachi. This dumb bitch Kurenai tried to trap Itachi in a genjutsu. He reversed that shit back on her like a fucking Uno card and was about to stab her ass, and Kakashi pull up. I'm like, oh shit. He just fighting in the middle of the streets? Like, what's going on? And next you know, Itachi closed his eyes. Kakashi like, hey, both of you, close your eyes. He opened it back up. Next you know, he in a different dimension. Talking about some, I control time and space in this dimension. Every second will feel like an eternity. I'm going to stab you for 72 hours. I was like, bro, he was stabbing him for like a minute. Then next you know, he said, now you got 71 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds left. I was like, oh my fucking God. He just treated Kakashi like he was a child.
I would have quit being a ninja.
Yeah.
Bro, Kakashi dropped to his knees.
I need
I was
psychology.
like,
I need
Kakashi, what
I need
happened?
therapy, bro.
He was like, 1 second you're talking to us, next thing you know, you're out of breath and you're on the floor. I was like, bro, what? It was like, so 72 hours in that world is just a couple moments here? I was like, bro, Sasuke want to beat him? No chance. It's not happening. It's never gonna happen. It's never happening. It's never happening. Then they pull up to where Naruto's staying at. They open the door. Naruto like, Sasuke? But wait, no. He's too big to be Sasuke. Sasuke pull up in the corridor. He started using Chidori, talk about something I've been trying to kill you all these years. He uses so much chakra, the fucking Chidori peeling the skin off his hand. He tried to hit Itachi with it. Itachi flicked that shit aside like it was flicking away paper clips. I was like, bro. Next thing you know, he just started beating the shit out of him. He said, you weak. Why are you weak? Because you lack hatred. And he used Tsukiyomi. I'm like, bro, oh my god. This nigga is the coldest nigga I've ever seen in my life.
Bruh. Son, not only was this a fantastic moment, but do you know how many memes this shit birthed in the anime? Oh my god, fucking dynamic entry. This nigga guy looking at them in the freaking reflection of his headband. Freaking Itachi holding Sasuke by the neck. So many memes, bro. That shit. That entire fucking. Now go ahead, keep going.
At the end, I'm sorry, at the end, Jiraiya like, all right, I've seen enough. This nigga's getting his ass whooped too much. He trapped them inside the belly of a fire toad. He was like, there's no escape. Itachi and Kisame started running. That shit closed in on him. I was like, he said there's no escape. Jiraiya signing. So if he said there's no escape, there's no escape. Next thing you know, Itachi closed his eyes. He opened it back up. The scene cut away. You hear a loud boom. I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened? They go to the entrance. That shit bust open. It's black flames around the fucking entrance.
Fucking up that nigga's intestines and shit, bro. Like, ow. Come on, man.
I said, bro, this was a fire toad. He burned his way out. He's God. He's God.
He said he's God.
He's God. Like, there's nothing nobody could tell me. It was my favorite character from that moment on.
Yeah.
Talk about this
Did
fight will
I
burn
not
for
say-
7 days. I said, there's just no way.
Oh, shoot. That's funny as hell. I don't lie to you. One of my favorite moments is when all the Jonin stopped Neji from charging at Hinata. He pissed her off with that. He's like, what the fuck? I'll fuck you up, man.
Yeah, that's
Yo, he washed me. There's no need. Like we know you're better. Like it's okay. I understand. Like I get what she said about you've been hurting. He's like, bitch. Don't you fucking talk about my internal emotion.
okay. Me turn.
Go ahead.
Shit, man. Listen. Our very first introduction to Jinchuriki chakra.
Ooh.
We fucking landed in a mist. We fighting Haku. Son, this fight's so raw to me. I don't know, man. Like, the amount of AMVs that this shit generated was crazy. But watching this shit, cause it's like, and of course, it's so funny because in hindsight, so many shonen series do this. But when I was looking at this back in fucking 5th grade or whenever the hell, or Cartoon Network, I'm like, dang, this really solidified that we fucking out of our league. Well, us little niggas anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Because Naruto and Sasuke fighting one nigga. They doing everything in their power. Haku don't give a fuck. Nothing working. They got the fake shuriken. They doing tag team offense. Nothing working. Then Haku get the fucking get the fucking mirrors out. Turn Sasuke into a shish kebab. I said, that's it. It's over. We done. Then this nigga Naruto, he started getting angry. Get the red chakra. I said, what the fuck is that? His hair starts standing up. Nigga, teeth getting long. I'm like, yo, he transforming, bro. All skill out the window. He just punch and win, bro. I was about to get.
No, it's funny because Haku's like, can't beat him. I'm done. Haku's like, I'm done. Can't win.
Nah, Haku had at least 24 mirrors to just easily jump through. This nigga Naruto is literally just running and punching. Haku tried to jump between the mirror. Nigga, oh my god. Only if y'all watch New Japan. He had the wrist control. He grabbed Haku by the wrist. I said, oh my god, it's over with. Punch one of the punches for the ages. Punch that nigga so hard, he went flying across the map.
No, wait. Not only that, he punched him through the ice mirror, bro.
It was so gas. Mask come off. Yo, it's me. Type shit. He don't care. Boy, he don't give a It was so gas. Oh man. Then you got that Foreman Clash of Ninja 2. Stop playing games with me, boy.
Not, you got I like the first one. It was Kibi Naruto in the first one, I think. It was like Tarakan Sakashi was a secret character. Maybe you're right. Maybe there's two. I don't think it's been a while. It's been a while.
But damn, I said, yo, that entire arc is so fire. But that's easily my favorite. Cause like Kakashi versus Zabuza, like I honestly was impressed. I'm like, yo, it's Kakashi, man. Like we good. Even though I was really fucking with Zabuza too, and I'm a Buster Sword merchant. But I'm like, listen, this the adults fighting, we good. But it's two little niggas fighting a fucking. Well, how fucking old is Haku anyways? Who fucking knows?
Was it Haku? What's
he
Haku
was
like?
14.
Yeah,
14? I thought it was 15.
He was like 2 or 3 years older than them at most.
But Haku was like in the thick of it like for a while, I guess.
Yeah, so like he was just so much this leagues beyond them. And it's like so Sakura over there just on the floor on her knees. The useless bitch. But son, the rich niggas risking their life. So that stage 2 just a big ass bridge. It's just everything was just so raw out there.
Simi brought up a really good point though that I realized about at least like the initial parts of Naruto. Despite even like Sasuke and those guys being strong, they haven't really properly risked their lives at ninja, and they had to overcome that hurdle. That I actually you reminded me of that. That's a good point. Like you know, you got your little Sharingan, the Uchiha blood, you talented, but you never really risk your life like that too. You know, so
Exactly, you
like
fighting real killers. Like not like the whole like freaking is this supposed to be a fucking C rank mission, S rank, but not you fighting real killers. They playing for keeps. Not no, I beat you, I'ma just tell you. No, we not leaving till somebody die. I'm like, oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah.
Kishimoto was in his freaking copy his homework bag deep. That shit was raw.
Yeah, I feel it. But I mean, I think it's a good segue to like favorite fights and abilities in general. Like, what's some of your favorite abilities and fights in Naruto? And then we can go up to the next thing. I'm gonna save the arcs for something else. I thought of something in my head, but yeah, favorite abilities and fights. If you have any, want to go into it. I'll start with one. Like, it's my favorite. I know it's not important. It stopped being important. I really never knew. I'm not sure why Kishimoto did it, but I'm a Byakugan merchant, bro. I'm trying to see through bitches' shirts. Like, and like I need that. X-ray vision always raw. Like, listen, I really thought that cloud was gonna go crazy. I was so disappointed with what happened, but I always liked the Byakugan. I thought Byakugan was really cool. That's my favorite dojutsu in the series, personally speaking. I don't really got anything else off the top of my head like that. The gates are cool. I think the gates are cool. I think it got a really big drawback, so I wouldn't really use it like that, even if I could. But I like the gates. As for a favorite fight, like I'm gonna be very generic. I really do think Naruto and Sasuke versus Sasuke Part 1 is the best fight in the series. Like I know it's a very uninspired answer, but I'm sorry. It was like one of the few times. Like listen, I never really liked Naruto. I'll be honest. Rereading it, I realized that he was a much better character to me when he was kind of trying to prove himself. I already found him much more interesting at the very least, but I never really liked him.
That's why I always related to him. Like I was always small segue, but I was always a Naruto nigga over a Sasuke nigga. Everybody fearing over Sasuke, but I'm like, I don't relate to this nigga. Freaking, he a genius. He got it all. He from prestigious. I'm like, I don't relate to this nigga. I relate to that nigga over there. He want to do something. He get told no, you can't do that. Nigga, that's my life. Literally, word for word, bar for bar. I'm like, oh. Shit, he living honestly, genuinely. He doing whatever, even though he's seen as a fucking problem child, right? But he really sad because them niggas treat him like an outcast. I'm like, hold on, I feel this. Loud knucklehead. I always gravitated to those characters way more as a youngin than them fucking dark brooding ass niggas. But
yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
but that fight is great. Is my favorite easily. If you had to give me like throw you a second fight that I liked, I actually don't like their second fight. Like at the end, I don't like it. I don't think it's very interesting. I'm actually not a fan of Itachi versus Sasuke either.
You look crazy.
But I like.
No, go ahead.
I listen.
Oh, next anyway.
Maybe you guys could come up with good reasons for why you like it. I'm not gonna really fight on it. I remember like not really liking how even back when it first happened, I was like it wasn't like the worst or best fight. It's just like I guess for what it was supposed to be, maybe my expectations were too high. I'm not entirely sure, but
Don't worry, chat. I gotcha.
I like what Shikamaru does to Hidan in the forest, the Nara
Oh
clan
my god,
forest.
so gas.
That's probably my second favorite. Like I don't like Asuma. I actually think he's a fucking clown. But I like how Shikamaru packed up Hidan. Just
He said,
put him
"I'm
in
your
there.
god now."
That shit was so raw. That was amazing to me. I like that. Those are my two favorite fights. Oh, one other ability I like is Kamui. I don't like Obito at all, but I like people I like people who could phase in and out of like existence and shit like that. I've always liked this. It's a comic book thing that I've always liked too. So this is a carryover.
Kitty
But all
Pride head ass over here.
Yeah, me next. So, huh, I greatly adored Kisame's sword. I thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever. First of all, it's a fucking busted sword, so that's a raw off rip. Second of all, it's covered in bandages. I'm like, hold on,
You're right.
you
Add weapons in there too because like the Tosca blade and Yantamir too. My bad. I didn't think about that. But good point. Keep going, Simi. My fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bandages raw, swords raw. Add the two, it's doubly raw. Son, I'm like, and finally, this shit eat chakra bread. Son, that was the coolest thing ever to me. And the fact that this nigga just got his head popped up by a double lariat, but anyways, yeah, his sword was so fucking raw to me. And
Didn't they call him a Jinchuriki without a tail, or something like that, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
yeah,
That's a raw title for him still. But keep going.
and yeah, freaking Rock Lee versus Kimimaru is easily one of my favorite fights of shit. Probably of
Still
all
one of mine.
time, honestly.
Nah, he was
I
a
know,
killer,
that's-
bro. He was
that's
nice.
what I have to go next because I don't see this fight getting nowhere near enough respect that it do. That shit was so. First of all, Kimimaru raw, his design raw. Nigga fight with he bones. I'm like, nah, there's just no way. This nigga guard talk about yo, I want to go help my. I mean, Lee talk about yo, I want to go help my friends. Nigga, your leg, bro. He say it do not matter, son. He go fight this nigga. They got the classic stage, grassy field. I'm like, yo, let's go. We here. This nigga talking about some. Yo, sorry, my bad. Hold up. I gotta take my medicine.
And Kiyomaru, like
The
because he's
medicine-
dying and whatnot, like actually understood. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
he
a,
was like, all right, he got medicine to take. I'll wait.
You thinking medicine? No, it's sake. I'm like, what the fuck finna go on here? Like, I was laughing, but off the gas pack at the same time. This nigga fell asleep. Kimimaru trying to stab him like some whack-a-mole shit. He keep rolling out of the way, bro. This shit is so gas. That fight was going so bananas. I don't care what nobody say. That's the only two good fights during that arc. That and Naruto vs Sasuke. The rest of them fights were not moving me.
I can't even lie. I really
that,
hated the
but-
fight with Neji and I want to say Kidomaru, the spider dude. First
Yes,
of all,
that's his name.
spiders ick. Oh my god, I was freaking out. I hate spiders, bro. I used to have arachnophobia, but I just like I'm like, bro, you're not keeping that fucking arrow so perfectly in the shut up, bro. It's not moving me. You're not doing that, bro. But anyways, keep going.
No, I was done. Shit.
Yeah, that's a good fight, bro. Anyone else with some fights? Reaver, give me one.
I actually really like the fight between Itachi and Sasuke at the end there. Well, not the end of the series, of course, but the main fight, right? Orochimaru pops out. There's a bunch of bullshit, but I think it's more about a story driven for once. There was some story. It wasn't so much about the fight as a fight. It was about the story driven elements of the fight and the reveal. Now, just because Sasuke took it like a little bitch and didn't do what he was supposed to fucking do, Itachi, it doesn't destroy what Itachi was trying to do with that fight. If you look at it from Itachi's POV, that was great storytelling, good raw. It's not his fault that his baby brother's a fucking moron, you know, and didn't listen to a fucking word he said or what his life was about. That's not Itachi's fault that his brother time after time was a fucking idiot. So I still love that fight. Actually, Naruto, for one thing, you can say a lot of faults about Naruto, but it has a lot of solid fights. I like Pain versus Naruto. I like fucking Gaara versus Rock Lee. I like Mike Guy versus. I like actually Madara versus like everybody. Was just like the fourth. Like, let's be honest, the last arc
That was the
sucked,
highlight
but
of
at
the
least
war.
there was some
Yes.
there was some good shit going down. You know
Like,
what I mean?
you know, I say like I love seeing characters just see something and just lose all hope. Like
Yeah.
he summoned a meteor. He's like, "Is this the power?"
Yeah,
That man fell to his knees and gave
"Want me to
up. He
summon
said, "We're
two?"
done."
Yeah, he was flexing. Madara was flexing so fucking hard. He goes, "Oh, do you want all of my clones to use Susanoo while just while we're standing here? You know,
Oh
just make it
man.
interesting."
Mhm.
You know, he was just fucking flexing for the sake of motherfucking flexing, and I gotta respect the
Fishy.
man for doing. Listen, had they not brought in the Kaguya and all that bullshit, Madara as the final villain didn't actually bother me that much.
Neither did I. I thought it was fine.
I thought it was fine. Had they ended it on just Madara was the villain, I think I would like the series a little more.
Okay. Who didn't go? Miles, did you go? I'll see if you go. You go last, Pat.
What you said? The weapons, the abilities, and the
yeah. Like give me some of your favorite weapons, abilities, and fights.
Weapon
or jutsu or whatever. I don't know.
My favorite jutsu is actually the summoning jutsu.
I'm not mad at that.
It's cool.
I'm not mad at that.
I think there's just nothing sweeter than like actually being able to summon like your own pet, especially because this is why I didn't like how no one else really utilizes it. Jiraiya was actually doing combo moves with the toads and was actually going crazy, which I really appreciate.
Toad Flame Bomb?
Fight wise, yeah. Fight wise, I do want to give this. I just want to say I do think you guys were saying in the chat. I do think Naruto versus Neji is the worst fight in the series.
Oh yeah, easily. It's not.
Also, it's funny that.
Yeah, awful.
I was gonna say I think it's funny how Neji is a fan favorite character, but most of his fights aren't good, and it's not like he's in the series.
Most
so, like
he's have a good fight. Honestly, hold on, let me think.
Neji,
I don't think he has a good fight, bro.
Character because he was Neji was a fan favorite character because he was fucking right. Talent and your birthright will always be stronger. Your hard work means fuck all.
It means not a goddamn thing. Not a thing. If you ain't talented, you ain't gonna be shit. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And was he wrong?
Nope. He was 100% right.
Exactly. So there you go.
Okay, I'm not mad at Kuchiyose. I'm not mad at that.
You guys already kind of hit all like my favorite fights. I guess the only thing I would just say again is just the Killer Bee versus Sasuke.
It don't matter. It don't matter if they hit it. Say your perspective.
Yeah, you might. Yeah.
But at least with the Killer Bee versus Sasuke fight, I don't like. There's just something about like seeing Sasuke's progression, especially because this is like back in prime time where, at this point, Sasuke was actually I think very well hated at this point around that like beginning of Shippuden stuff. Yeah, by the fandom. We're like, we see what he's doing. Naruto still stays. Yeah.
Nah, he was. And
he was hated.
In the forums that I was in, every time the story shifted to Sasuke focus, people hated it.
That's interesting. I didn't notice that. But
Sasuke, I'm pretty sure Sasuke was only well liked until like back in the war arc. Honestly, because everybody just called Sasuke a whiny bitch. But
I called him a tool.
Well, that
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But seeing him like gain all this arrogance and like shit on everybody, like he beat Didar, which was kind of dumb. He was beating Sasuke. He beat Orochimaru, and then like he has his fight with his brother, which was humbling. But it's like he still technically got the dub, right? And then he comes in with all this confidence and gets absolutely beat the fuck up.
I think it was flipping
I have
and dipping
never
with the blades.
seen someone come up with someone with so much confidence, get their ass beat, get a heal mid-fight, get their ass beat again, get another heal, and have a nigga make raps about you while beating your ass. And that was absolutely insane to me.
Yeah. Not wrong. Not wrong.
Let me rap to you. Let me rap to you.
Like, that's why, to me, it was just like Sasuke basically rage quit with like Amaterasu, so it's like whatever, but like, that to me was just great. I love that fight.
Okay.
And we got to see like an actual Jinchuriki like full potential, which I think was really cool to see.
I agree with
Instead of,
that.
like,
I agree
how
with that.
Naruto could like be. But yeah.
You kind of think about maybe if him and Karam, or at the time he didn't know his name, but he thought, maybe he could become like really more dangerous.
Yeah. And then I won't, because I'm going to let Pat handle the Itachi versus Sasuke thing, but I do want to say, I think the beauty of the Itachi versus Sasuke fight is that I think it's the only fight in the series that had Genjutsu, Taijutsu, and Ninjutsu used at the highest level.
Stole my thunder. I was
That's
going
the
to open
only
with
one that
that.
has up there. My bad.
Nah,
bad.
but
I'll let
this is why
Pat.
we
I'll
need
give
to
it
have
to
him
Pat.
here, though.
I'll give it
We're
to
on the
Pat.
same wavelength.
All
Yeah,
right, tag
Pat's
him
my
in.
idol.
Tag him in. Tag him in.
He just hit me with the baton pass. I wasn't expecting it, but I ain't drop it, so I'm coming in. This was the fight that everybody was looking forward to. Because Sasuke, he beat Orochimaru. He beat Deidara. He done leveled up. So now it's time for him to fight the big bad. And we ain't seen Itachi fight since before the time skip. So we're over here thinking like, okay, we still have that impression left in our minds. Like the last time he stepped to this nigga, he got his ass whooped. So how's this gonna go? And nigga Itachi was like, Sasuke, you've gotten big. What do your eyes see now? And then he was like, my eyes see you dead at my feet. I'm like, talking kind of big. I like this. And then Itachi was like, you see my body lying at your feet dead? All right. So they open up the fight. They start off with like some genjutsu, going back and forth. The nigga Sasuke thought he stabbed Itachi. Itachi like, look over there. And then he's like, nah, it was genjutsu. But Sasuke's like, nah, I ain't a little kid no more. We just been standing in the same spot all this time. I seen through it. I'm like, all right, we start off with a genjutsu. Then what they do, they start pulling out the ninja tools, start throwing them. They summoning more ninja tools while they throwing them at each other. I'm like, all right, we going off to a good start. Then the ninja tools is doing nothing. So they move in, they start fighting. Taijutsu. Sasuke got the upper hand in that. Itachi kind of rusty, ain't been fighting in a while. They back up. Both of them do hand signs at the same time. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Sasuke leveled up in his ninjutsu. I'm like, oh, shit. Sasuke looked like he got the upper hand. Hold on. Then what Itachi do? He closed his eyes. Open them back up. Amaterasu. I'm like, bro. Sasuke running for his life. Then Itachi pinned him up against a wall. He tell him why he needed Sasuke alive all this time. Because he needed his eyes so he could have the eternal Sharingan. He tried to trap him in the Tsukiyomi. What does Sasuke do? He used his curse mark to break out the Tsukiyomi so he could boost his chakra. They get to the rooftop. They fighting some more. Then Sasuke used dragon flame jutsu in the roof. It start raining. After it start raining, what Sasuke do? He used Kidding. He said, be gone with the thunderclap. Boom! Crush this nigga under some lightning. I'm like, holy shit. This nigga Sasuke just beat Itachi. Itachi, get back up. I'm like, bruh, he not dead after he just got struck with lightning? He was like, this is the final technique of the Mangekyo Sharingan. It's a Susanoo. That's the first time we ever seen Susanoo. Sasuke chakra spent. He don't got nothing left. He like, fuck, what I'ma do? He tried to use the curse mark, but since he don't got no chakra left, the curse mark backfired. Then what happened? Orochimaru come out.
The realest nigga in the
like,
series.
oh shit. Orochimaru here. And he
me
not
that
just here,
body.
he in his Hydra form.
Give me
His
that body.
8 heads of the snake. The nigga
He's
running
ready
his
to
fucking
take
mouth.
it.
He talk
His
about something, I'm
opportunity.
ready to take your body, Itachi. What Itachi do? Stab him with the Tosca blade and seal him up.
The Totsuka
I'm
blade
like,
is utter bullshit. I just gotta say that real quick.
Soulsy,
Yeah,
Bro.
but I really like
you can
his
say
Pat's
it's wrong,
gonna
whatever,
go
but
off.
the move is utter bullshit. And it's
Oh no,
clearly a
but
plot device.
Pat's gonna go. Pat's still gonna go off raw on this. I just need to interject with that one because that Itachi was expecting that the entire time. He knew how
Yes,
Sasuke
this
got to
is
this
what
point.
he wanted.
He knew Orochimaru was waiting for the opportunity, so he came up with a countermeasure. This man was predicting the predictions in a chess game before the chess match even started.
He
I
was
don't think
playing
it's bullshit.
5D
This man knew.
chess.
No, I'm saying the ability is bullshit, not the.
I mean, I understand that, but it's still like in line with like the Japanese mythology of like the Yada mirror, and then like you have
Yeah,
Amaterasu,
I mean, both the
Tsukuyomi,
moves
all
are
that stuff.
are bullshit. But go ahead.
Hey man,
Because
It is what it is.
no other Susanoo got like special shit like that except for Kakashi's.
Ashu, did the Raikage fight? I forgot. I forgot. I don't think about that nigga at all. Fuck.
but now that shit, when Itachi fucking used Susanoo, that was like one of the most hype moments in the entire series for me, because I was like,
Never seen.
we already seen Tsukuyomi, we've seen Amaterasu, so we didn't know what the last ability was gonna look like, and then this shit was like, basically a fucking Ninja Gundam. That shit was raw. And then the other fight that I wanted to spotlight was Madara versus the 5 Kage, because they were fucking doing everything they could to take him down. And Madara was like, I've been dead for so long. I come back, and this is what I come back to. Y'all niggas weaker than when we was fucking being Shinobi. He was so unimpressed. That shit was crazy. Then nigga pulled out the fucking shadow clones, and it was like, y'all could fight these. Y'all not worthy of fighting me. And he was like, oh, do y'all want my fucking shadow clones to use Susanoo as well? I was like, bro. I was like, bro.
I think
He's actually fucking ridiculous.
I think that stuff was well built up too. I would say that the Madara was well built up throughout, like
Yes.
the mythos of Madara was well built up throughout the course of the series. So by the time you saw the real one and he was doing that, it actually was totally okay for him to flex like that. I'm gonna say that.
The last thing, real quick, before I'm done, because I know I've been talking for a while, was when Sasuke pulled up at the 5 Kage Summit arc.
Talk about it.
He made me a believer.
The worst arc.
He made me a believer, because at the time I wasn't feeling Sasuke, but when I saw this nigga, I was like, he acting totally different. First off, he pull up in the meeting upside down, looking down at all of them with the eyes of a murderer, ready to kill all the fucking Kage over there. The right Kage mad as shit because he don't know that his stupid ass brother on vacation and faked his death. So he over here going on a warpath trying to get at Sasuke. Gaara pull up trying to hit Sasuke with some stupid bullshit, talking about some, you have to let go of the hatred in you. You have somebody that cares for you. Talking about Naruto, Sasuke. Man, I don't want to hear that shit.
That's not moving
I'm here
me.
to fucking catch bodies. Then they go try to fight the Raikage. The Raikage was like, I know this nigga got his ass whooped by my brother, so what makes him think he could fight me? Like, this nigga was offended that Sasuke thought he was on his level. Nigga fucking...
Should love that moment. It was like,
he
dude,
was about to backhand Sasuke.
my brother kicked
Sasuke?
your ass. Why the fuck are you trying to roll up on me right now?
Bro, he tried to backhand Sasuke. Sasuke used Amaterasu as a shield. That nigga was like, is that shit supposed to stop me? He hit that nigga anyway.
Is that supposed to intimidate, fucker? You child?
He hit him anyway. I was like, bro, he's insane. That nigga grabbed Sasuke, and what he do? He batiste that ball in his head, bro. I couldn't believe this shit. That nigga Sasuke had to use the Susanoo ribcage to break the fall. He was like, oh, that wasn't enough? That nigga tried to hit him with the Liger bomb. I was like, bruh. He was going crazy.
You know, at the beginning of this podcast, everyone said that we were going to be a bunch of, it's like, oh, there's a bunch of Naruto haters. But everyone just needs to listen to Pat fucking talk for the last 20 minutes. And we actually kind of like Naruto in a lot of respects.
I mean,
Right.
no series is like most series aren't bad from top to bottom. Like I always give credit
No,
where credit is
of
due, and
course
if I like something. But I mean, overall, like you know,
I know it's funny, but
I know,
but
I
Pat
know what you're
came
saying.
in here at the beginning of the podcast, talk us back like, oh, we're about to go down.
Bro,
We're
we
about
haven't
to
even
hit
got to
this
some of the
all
real
dark."
shit yet. We're
We're just
funny.
softening the blow.
See, listen,
we are in shallow waters right now.
Praise it.
We have not gone deep yet.
I'm going to bed.
All right, brother.
Sadly, unfortunately, I must return to the proverbial hamster wheel. However,
Mhm.
my spirit shall live on through the hatred that my brother shared with me for this shitty ass manga. Kishimoto will not prosper as long as we draw breath.
Absolutely
So when that
not.
time comes, I will be sleeping peacefully because I know that, there will be slander back in the air. And with that, I bid y'all adieu.
Good night, brother.
I'll see y'all later. Y'all see
Later.
Good night, brother.
All right.
Thanks, bro.
Good night, bro.
Okay. So before we start to really dive into like the misconception about the series and whatnot, what would you say is your
Okay.
favorite and least favorite thing about Naruto? If you could pinpoint one thing of each. Only want one. I don't want a list. One of each. Favorite
Yeah, I
and
can
least
go.
favorite thing. Go ahead.
Favorite thing. Naruto is one of the few series in which we actually have always seen his training and progression on screen. It has never been skipped over. We see him learn chakra control. We see him do the stepping on trees, the stepping on water. We see him do the Rasengan. Yeah, he has a 2-year skip, but the only thing he ever learns over that's just like the basics again, and he gets like a bigger Rasengan.
That's what
We
I
see
said.
him learn.
It's like you came back with big Rasengan. You trash.
Yeah, but then we
Where'd you go?
we see him do the Jinchuriki controls.
Mhm.
So I have to appreciate that every ability we ever see Naruto do is never a surprise. It's never, where did you pull this out of your ass? You know what I mean? One Piece has moments like where'd you get to there? You know what I mean? Yeah, you're Soru, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes like, where are you guys getting these abilities? But Naruto, we have always seen his progression. We know why he can do what he can do. He's never surprised about how strong he is, and I have to appreciate that.
Okay. And what would you say is your least favorite thing about it?
Uh,
Oh, hit.
The lack of endings of conversations, as I said, like the pain thing and the Obito thing is where it's you put Naruto on an actual back foot where this guy doesn't know what to do. And I think it's a good moment when Naruto says, I don't know. But it's like, instead of learning what you should do, it's just kind of like other random shit happens at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as if underneath the thug. And it's like, okay, we're over. It's like, wait, I didn't hear the answer. And it's like, yeah, well, it's okay. That to me is pretty bad.
Okay. Glam. I want to hear from you. Maybe there. I don't know if he's
Favorite
back.
thing about it and worst
Least favorite thing about it. Least favorite thing about it.
Least favorite thing about it has to be the main cast for me.
Okay.
Like I am not moved by any of Team 7 at all. I like Naruto in the beginning of the story, but I never liked Sasuke, never liked Sakura, never liked Kakashi either.
Oh shit! I kind of like. I used to like Kakashi.
Well, I think the difference for me, like, I think this is where I differ with guys like Pat and Simula. They get sucked into the cool shit. They love that kind of stuff. I do not like that shit. I'm a intellectual.
Oh Jesus!
But yeah, like that sort of like I never really get sucked into like the cool character vibe. Like that's why I've never really cared for Itachi either.
Okay.
My favorite thing.
I don't even care if it's a character, bro. It could be something
This
simple as
isn't
a
even
character.
necessarily. I mean, this is more of an anime thing, but for me, I think the one thing that carries me throughout the thing that I love the most about the series is honestly the anime's music. And I know
Okay.
that's a very niche answer, but Naruto's soundtrack is fucking incredible, especially in moments where you're trying to feel emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like
In
for
the
instance,
first one at least, Shippuden's
even- well,
soundtrack is dog shit.
Is it?
I like a lot of Chippuden's stuff, but there's specific ones. It's not all of them because there are a lot of unmemorable ones in Shippuden too. But I'd say like mainly for emotional moments, like for Kushina and Minato, I like a lot. But I think the scene for me is carried with the music that's playing during the moment itself when they die.
Okay.
Like that's my favorite thing outside of it because I can't really say like characters or setting or hell no to themes. Or even like the plot is like my favorite thing about it, and the combat I always thought was a tad a bit overrated, but that's just me.
All right. What about you, Griever?
I think my favorite thing about the series is that it's over. No.
Loki isn't though. We suffered through Boruto.
I mean, no, that's part of it. Basically, my A favorite thing I would have to say is what I sort of was saying before was the cast outside of Team 7. Honestly, they range from meh to mediocre to not bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one really to super hate. They have a pretty solid cast of characters, some underdeveloped and blah blah blah. But are they really terrible characters? No, not really. It's the shitty main cast that really drags the series down. So I'm gonna take my best and worst thing, my favorite thing being worst thing is the main cast of Team 7. Best thing is the fact that they had a supporting cast that at least I could sink my teeth into when we had an Itachi chapter, a Jiraiya chapter, and an Orochimaru chapter. You know?
Okay.
Hmm.
Who didn't go?
I didn't go.
Go ahead.
Um, I was actually sitting here thinking while everyone was talking, what is my favorite thing about Naruto? And I was drawing up a lot of blanks. So,
Pat did ask. That's why I said music too.
I was gonna say I really love the way he handled Minato's character. I think that was the one character that he did not fuck up on at any point.
Really?
Yes.
That's
I
interesting.
hate that man.
That's interesting to
That
me.
guy sucks.
Nah, see, cause
I'm
this is
probably in
why
the
I like
middle
him,
of both
right?
of you. But keep going. Keep going. What was it?
So I like him because we first get told that he was a genius, but we never saw nothing from him. And then like he had a reputation that was out of this world. And then when we finally started to see pieces of him and his personality and what he was like, he actually fit the billet of what his reputation was. Like we actually got to see him stop one of the fucking war fronts of the Third Ninja War by himself. We
Mhm.
saw him like rescue Kushina when they were kids, and we saw like when he became the Hokage. We saw when he came to the battlefield during the Fourth Ninja War and was doing all types of shit that he shouldn't have been able to do, but he picked up on it on the fly. He was getting compliments from the second Hokage, talking about something his jutsu is better than mine. I'm the one that made it. I'm like, bro, this nigga constantly, time and time again, like he's proven why he has this reputation. Even when they was trying to do the reanimation jutsu to bring Madara back for good, and Obito was doing the setup for it in the beginning, he realized that Obito was the one that he had put the teleportation jutsu on way back when, all those years ago, and he was able to teleport right in front of him and slash his fucking neck, like no hesitation. And even that fight when he fought Obito, I can't even believe I forgot about that shit. We saw this nigga Obito fucking give everybody to run around with his Kamui. Nobody knew what the fuck to do. Minato figured out how to handle it in like within the first clash of fighting him, and was able to hit him with the Rasengan. Like, bro, he's actually a genius. Everything he does just impresses me. So that's my favorite thing about it.
Wait, can I add one quick thing too? Then going
Go
off
ahead.
that. I guess one thing I do appreciate this. We were kind of talking about in the Bleach stream, but Naruto I think does handle the overall concept of genius well, where I hate when series have like one genius character and it's just the offer, like just like kind of like sucking his character off. In this, we have multiple geniuses, and it really shows, and I appreciate that. So yeah, I agree. Minato is a genius. Itachi is a genius. Kakashi was a genius. You know what I mean? You have a lot of genius characters that actually, as adults, fulfill their potential and actually have presence and agency, and I appreciate that. I
think
don't
that
like
applies for some
Minato.
of them. I don't think it applies to all of
A
them.
Neji?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think it applies to Neji. I think Itachi is hit or miss based on how you perceive him. I think Kakashi is a definite no to a genius.
Chief
I think
asking.
Chidori
No, he is a
Chief,
genius.
Chief
No,
asking, was
Kakashi
Sasuke a
is a
genius?
Yeah, they're
No.
geniuses.
Kakashi's a genius.
Kakashi's a genius. He just sucks.
No,
That's
no.
all
Was
it is.
Sasuke a
I
genius?
don't even think Kakashi is
Genius,
Pat, to be
it
honest.
just-
Like, I don't see
okay.
that.
Wait,
He's a
Sasuke's
genius
a
based
genius.
on
He
his
just doesn't show
reputation
as
and
much.
his resume.
Okay, he is a genius. Okay, wait. So one, the Sasuke is a genius. It just doesn't show because his older brother's just better.
Yeah.
Okay, he's overshadowed. Fair
Kakashi
enough.
is a genius because he is we have an on-brand thing of him becoming a tuning at 6 and a joning at 12.
Yes.
That is a
and
genius.
he was Anbu
He
Black
created
Ops.
his own jutsu at 12. And it's a jutsu that's like what, A rank, S rank,
I mean, how
Chidori.
many characters?
Yeah, it's
my
A-rank
thing with
jutsu.
that kind of stuff is that how many characters are making jutsu on their own in the first place?
Not many.
and exactly, and that's why it doesn't seem impressive to me because all the named characters in the story, there's like a small amount of them that do, but I never see how they do it. For one, and then two, it's like
Well, we know
okay,
how he did it.
it's like okay, like what are these? What jutsu are you making? Because this is one of my problems with Orochimaru. He's like, oh, I have all these jutsu I made. Where are they? Where are they?
What do you mean?
I
What do you
agree.
mean, bro? Snakes.
I agree.
I
No,
got
I
snakes.
agree. His
Because
title,
Orochimaru is
knowing.
technically one of the largest, biggest geniuses in the story, and Kakashi's loved as
Yes.
a genius because of all he copies and mainly because of Lightning Blade. But it
Well,
doesn't.
no,
Honestly,
his
I'm not.
title of copy ninja and his genius isn't the same because he was held
Okay,
as a
no,
genius
it
before
goes
he got
hand
the
in hand.
Sharingan.
It goes hand in hand.
I somewhat agree. Like, well, because so like the only jutsus that we know
Low
that were
tier
created by
genius.
somebody is Shadow Clone, the Flying Raijin,
Flying
and
Raijin and Chidori and
the re
Rasengan.
and Ito Tensei. One that created three of them is the second Hokage. One that created Rasengan is the fourth, and Kakashi created his own based off another. So I think just based purely off that, he is a genius. Now, is Kakashi like one of the best fighters or whatever? Sometimes I kind of disagree. Now, I will agree with you on the point that how do you know 1,000 jutsus and can't really escape some of the situations that you've been in? Bad writing. You know what I mean?
They said
But
Hashimama's
I
sperm
do
is a
think
genius. That's crazy.
we,
Hilarious.
very
You talk
true.
about
Them
But
Yamato.
cells.
I think he is a genius. And going back to the Minato thing, Pat,
Mhm.
I just think Minato is what's the male version of a Mary Sue?
Gary Stu.
Oh, Gary Stu. Oh,
He's a
that's
fucking
what your
Gary
problem
Stu.
is.
I mean,
Because
I'd say you could say that about a lot of characters in Naruto too.
no, because Kiz is specifically retconned in the war so he can be sweeter than what he is. He already was impressive on screen, but we give him mastery of Nine Tails and Sage mode, which we know he didn't have.
Yeah, I thought that was nonsense, but you know.
Yeah, but
Well, I
By
don't-
then I was
a
so.
retcon
By then I was
doesn't
so
make it-
already like.
No, from what I was remembering, it wasn't that he didn't have it; he just never mastered it because he didn't have time. But he knew how to use it.
All right.
Well, no, he specifically, we know he didn't have it because when Naruto learned it and got the specific eyes, they said, you're the first person to do this. But he completed that exact same style in the war. We saw him do it. That's a retcon. And then with the Nine Tails, he died when he got it. There's no way for him to master it.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
But all right.
You know what I mean? So that's my issue. I just think he's a Gary. So that's just like, yeah.
Well, I mean that's gonna tie into my least favorite part about Naruto.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
And Kishimoto is such a fucking piece of shit, dog shit writer. That shit is so fucking flagrant. Like, even when I was 14 years old, I could see the cracks in the writing. I was like, this makes absolutely no sense. And there's countless examples of this. Like, when he had Sasuke fight Deidara, right?
Mm-hmm.
They fought, he practically won the fight. And he was on one knee, had no more chakra left. Deidara was exhausted and spent. He had lost. He was upset. Sasuke trying to get answers. He like, where Itachi at? Deidara not listening. He like, I'm gonna go out with a bang, final explosion, whatever. And they were like, oh, Sasuke caught in a blast. Then next thing you know, we see Sasuke the next chapter. He's fine. He come out of Manda, Orochimaru's main summon. And then you talk about oh, right before the explosion, I summoned Manda, and then I used Sharingan at the same time to teleport somewhere else. I'm like, first of all, Sharingan's never fucking done that. That's number one. Number two, you were so spent that you couldn't even use your Sharingan at the time beforehand. You couldn't even stand up. And what we know about Kekkei Genkai is that Kekkei Genkai allows the user to use that technique with the bare minimum of chakra allowed. So if he didn't even have enough chakra to use his Sharingan, how the fuck did he pull off a summoning and use his Sharingan again? And then it's not even just like the combat stuff. It's the shit that we were talking about with Pain and Naruto in the conversation, and then Pain bringing everybody back to life after some bullshit example or whatever. Fucking we get to the Shinobi War and fucking we find out that Obito was Tobi all along. It was like one of those things that's like so obvious that you want it to not be true because you're just like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But you're just like, We saw the Kakashi Gaiden. We saw him get crushed by boulders. You're telling me he survived that when he was a child and was living for years? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Even the fucking conversation with Neji and Naruto where he's like, "Oh, your birthright doesn't determine what you are. If you work hard enough, even the person that has no talent can pass a genius and become the Hokage." And Neji's telling him that no, only those who are born into becoming Hokage or are trained with the Hokage can become Hokage. Then later on, what we find out, all the Hokage either trained somebody who became a Hokage, or they had a spawn or a relative that became the Hokage. First
And we're
Hokage
all
obviously is the
considered
first.
geniuses.
That
Well,
second Hokage is the brother of the first. Third Hokage is the student of the first and the second. Fourth Hokage is the student of the third. Fifth Hokage is the fucking granddaughter of the first. Sixth Hokage is the student of the fourth. Seventh Hokage is the son of the fourth. Like, come on, bro.
not to mention, fifth is also the student of the third.
Like, it's just so flagrant to me. Like, I'd be looking at this shit, I'm like, bro, this shit sucks.
And also, Pat, every single one of those people are considered geniuses in some field, one way or the other.
Medical genius.
This shit pisses me off every fucking
Say
time I
Donna
look
Sa.
at it. I'm
It's in
just
the
like,
blood,
bro,
baby. It's in the blood.
his writing is just so bad. Like, I can't ignore it.
All right. It's my turn. My favorite thing about the series is Orochimaru. I don't fucking care about nothing else. Just chat. This shit sucks. But least favorite thing about Naruto is how badly it betrays its theme. I'm sorry. I know this is the most common complaint people say about it, but I actually very much agree with it. Like the whole meme of Neji being right. I'm sorry. Like even when I look at Naruto in hindsight and from top to bottom, I go, I remember his mom's name. I want to say Kushina. What was his mom's name?
Yeah, it's Kushina.
She was what part of the Uzumaki clan with like sealing jutsu or whatever. She was the previous host of the Jinchuriki. Okay,
Yes.
interesting. Your dad was literally like a genius and was the fourth Hokage. So even from a birthright standpoint, he was destined for greatness. Naruto naturally already had a large chakra reserve. You have the nine-tailed fox in you, and I'm like, beginning the series makes it look like yeah he's kind of working hard, whatever. So I'll kind of give to that, and then it just completely flips on its head, and I'm like, what is going on? To the point to me where it got mad egregious. Where I started like, I just had to like, ever some kind of laughter or something like, like you just shaking your head in this defeat. This bitch ass nigga Ninja Jesus gonna pop up and say you're incarnate to my son.
God.
Here's some fucking powers. What the fuck is that shit? Where was the hard work? He was fucking born. Where is it? Explain it to me, because not a single Naruto fan has ever beaten me on this specific argument, and I've done it with no knowledge in my head, just vibes, because I don't remember shit about the series. Like, bro, that's egregious. That's just ass. I can't deal.
Nah, and it's worse because it's like when you find out that Naruto's the son of the fourth, like that shit pissed me off immediately. You're going completely against what your brother wanted.
Exactly.
All right, I think it should be fine. I don't know, bro. It updated the fucking game. What it keeps updating while I'm streaming? That's so weird.
And realistically, that's the big thing when you think about it, is that Itachi basically told his brother. Remember that at this point, the worst part is I
Sorry,
could
guys.
understand
Mhm.
if Itachi, like if Sasuke went on and said my brother was wrong the whole time, but we didn't get enough like inner monologue from Sasuke to make us believe that, okay, I know my brother wanted ABC, but I still think XYZ is better. That's not what we got. We got my brother wanted ABC. So I'm going to do XYZ because that's what my brother would want. The math didn't add up.
Dang, I read it not too long ago. I think I could be wrong. I think he does that.
He mentions, I do remember that because I was trying to do a speed, like not a speed run, but like big moments. He does mention that he goes, he questions that maybe this isn't what Itachi wanted.
Yeah, I think
like in the cave. He does question it, but the fact that he went through with it before even a shred of doubt went through his mind. I'm going to destroy the Leaf Village.
Yeah, it wasn't very much of a progressive
No.
thought
His
process.
dead brother, his brother's probably if his brother was a ghost who just came out of his body, he's like, I just told you not to do that 5 fucking minutes ago, you dick.
Yeah, but I think you said the thing about Sasuke being a ninja in that, but I think we also remember Sasuke is a specific type of ninja where like he grew up on hatred. So even though his hatred towards his brother may be gone, his thought process has always been oriented around that said concept. You know what I
He
mean?
needs somebody to hate. He needs someone
Yeah.
to focus the hatred on.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then,
that's actually not a bad argument. I do admit.
No, I
Yeah,
agree
and
with
it-
that. Just that his mindset's always been shit to me, and that's why I still think it's bad.
I'm in
Yeah,
the vein. If
fair.
I was in Naruto world, I would probably hate everybody. They all kind of like are just dickheads.
Yeah,
so,
and when you think about it, like we all complain about Sasuke, and fair enough, but how many of us have had our loving brother that we looked up to, our mother and father, blah blah blah, our entire clan slaughtered, our brother's the one who killed our parents in front of our eyes, he made us watch it again and again within a genjutsu for fucking how God knows how many hours or days, and just to make sure that he absolutely fucking despises us. And you think that 9-year-old's gonna grow up well structured? No, everything's good. It's actually like very clear.
All right, we're gonna give
all right.
we're gonna give it we're gonna give it one more whirl. I apologize if again, but if it does go down again, I'm just gonna record this with the guys off stream.
Oh, is that Vince?
I'll splice
Yes,
it
it is.
together. What's up,
Hello,
Vince?
Vince.
But I'm going to just jump to the next topic.
Wait,
So-
wait. Can I wanted to say something about the one you brought up about the going against his own
Oh, go
theme
ahead.
or whatever. I guess Mike, I wanted to ask also each of you, what do you guys like? How do you define destiny?
Destiny.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll answer it. Destiny is like a predetermined path based on like what the people before you and the people you surround you have done for you in your life. So if your parents are like engineers, right? Then you are destined to take the path of the engineer because the groundwork is already laid down there for you. So whether you have an affinity for it or not, that's a different story. But like you already have a set path for you in life. So that's how I look at it.
Mm.
My problem is the hard work didn't matter.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then I guess my question is like if we're talking about Naruto then, right? Like would it be in his thing, is he even if he never tried, would he be destined to be just automatically strong? Or is it
Yes.
his
yes,
personality
absolutely.
or so even if he never trained, he would be as strong as he would.
Michael Jordan was always going to be good at basketball, whether or not he practiced basketball.
Okay. So to answer your
Natural
question
talent is a
about
thing.
this, to answer your question about this, it's different in fiction. In real life, obviously that's a whole completely story. But when we're talking about fictional stuff, well, you basically have written in your story that, all the things that it felt like the character was based off of, how hard he worked because he didn't have no talent, and then you tell me that one of his parents was a fucking Hokage, and the other one of his parents is from a famous clan, and she was like no like weakling herself.
The previous
She's a
Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails.
descendant of Hashirama.
Yeah, so like in what grounds was he going to be like trash unless he was just completely incompetent?
He was lucky enough to have this mindset.
See, I feel
So
like
you see what I'm saying?
it doesn't. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like it kind of don't apply. The problem is the character himself wouldn't know he's predetermined for that destiny. He don't even know his parent. The problem is that we as a reader know that, and we went through the story thinking he wasn't, or at least I did for a very long time.
Everybody did.
Well,
He wasn't what?
Certain people say differently. Apparently, because they knew shit that I didn't know. Apparently, when they were reading it.
They're lying.
I feel that way too, but whatever. But yeah, so I'm just
just letting you know we're recording because I can't get I can't get it to stabilize. So I'm just we keep going, but I'm just recording.
Okay.
I'm offline. I'm just keep going.
Okay.
We keep going.
But yeah, see, the problem is just that him working hard and all that other stuff, that's cool. I don't got no problem with none of that.
But the problem is basically you told me because think about what he went through and what he did. This was a dude at the start of the series. He failed the academy 3 times or whatever. And also, the first jutsu he used, even though it wasn't legendary jutsu, he only had one jutsu, forbidden jutsu.
I'm gonna be
He had
honest
no
with
clone
you.
jutsu.
I really don't. That failing 3 times thing is weird because he's the same age as everybody else when they all graduated together. So like, I don't get that.
Now, I think what it was they had the class, right? And then they took the test, and then like everybody passed it the first try, and then Naruto took the test again after he had failed it, and then he failed it again, and then after that he passed it. But it wasn't like he got dropped back into another class or anything like that. It was probably like next week he took it again, and then next week he took it
Yeah,
again.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I said, a whole lot of problems I have based off what Naruto thing is for him. It's just that if he was always, destined for greatness, then why did you act like the entire time that he have no talent? He only learned this one jutsu because not even like he had a whole bunch of techniques he was learning at the very beginning and stuff like that. And
Now
it was
it
just
wasn't even acting though, Vince. Like you had people like
no, no, but not,
Jiraiya.
no, but
Yeah,
not
that's
him,
what I'm
not
saying.
him, not from his perspective, from Kishimoto writing it. Why did you act like,
Yeah,
like,
I know
oh,
what
this
he's
kid
saying.
was,
He wrote an underdog story. Meanwhile, it was fucking Harry Potter, the chosen one.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
wait a minute.
That's
fuck?
that's my problem with the way he went about it. Because my thing is, I'm not saying that Naruto wouldn't have had to work hard, but you're selling me something that simply not is. Just because you're born with special parents don't mean you're gonna be special. So, but when you throw in destiny on top of it with the special parents, come on, man, what are we doing? You're
Yeah, I
telling me
agree.
it's destiny plus special parents that make it look so bad. Not only was he predestined, it'd be one thing if it's like, oh, he didn't have no special legacy, no special parents, none of that. He didn't have none of those things. But he had I don't know what you want to say. He had some type of some cosign that just like that kid had some real talent that he just don't know about yet. That's not what happened. He got both. He got the predetermined that you were gonna be great, and you also got, oh yeah, by the way, one parent is this, and boom, the other parent is this. Why you need all that? In fact, and then the always thing we always run back to all the time too is that, oh, everybody knew he was the fourth Hokage son, and they were just like, and then, they were just like, but we gonna blame him. And
Yeah,
then the third
nobody
Hokage knew
mentions
everything,
that.
and then the
Yeah.
third Hokage knew everything. It was like, I'm watching over Naruto. No, you're not. You're not doing nothing. So that's my problem. So there you go.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But like I said, it might be different for other people. People got a different perspective and a different value what they value. And also, I've just kind of learned to realize too that other people value the various mini themes in Naruto because there's a lot of themes in the story. But for me, that was like one of his core ones, and for that one not being good was a problem.
Because the problem is now, like I'll get into what I was gonna kind of get into, but before my stupid shit started fucking up. It's the way that it's handled and portrayed throughout the narrative. Because at the very beginning, in hindsight and retrospect, it's hard to take the beginning of Naruto hard and his struggles hard because of all the things you realize he has. Because he actually has a naturally large chakra reserve. Like you said, he's the son of somebody who's connected to Hashirama, who was the previous Jinchuriki. So you're the next Jinchuriki, and your dad's a fucking genius and the Hokage, right? Then there's prophecies about you becoming a child of destiny or whatever, right? And I'm looking at this like, bro, what part of him saying that Neji saying what he said was wrong? It's not wrong. It completely applies to Naruto. I kind of get what some people say. Some people try to go like half and half. I can't do that because I can't do that because at the end of the day, you could have gotten away with that. But what about the fact that he's the reincarnation of Ninja Jesus' son? What about that part? What, you cannot dismiss that. Cause that's like so divorced from even like, his family lineage. And in these Japanese stories, your bloodline is important. That nigga just put his hands out and gave them sage powers, or I can't remember what they're called, but like, sage of six paths powers, just because they're injured on Ashura or whatever. That's trash. He didn't earn that. What did he do but exist? He was just born. So like that's why I always fight on the pushback on that argument. 'Cause I'm like, no, it really does betray that entire theme of like working hard and stuff because all the strongest people were blessed with something. Hashirama could just has a healing factor. He got all this fucking good wood, big strong tree and shit like that. Like, bro, stop! Don't play with me. Nigga was a Uchiha, one of the best Uchiha. Stop playing with me. All the strongest characters in this show are like bloodline limit ass niggas. If Rock Lee ended up like climbing to the top, you would have had some kind of argument or pushback. You don't have a pushback on this point, honestly. It really does betray
Yeah,
its
because
own
Rock
theory.
Lee has no victories in the entire series, so
Yeah.
it just further extenuates the point that if you're not born into
And he's
a
always
notable
training.
family or half a bloodline, you can't do shit.
Honestly, the only one you could probably semi argue is
It's Mike
well,
Guy.
yeah, that. Well, wait, was Kakashi's family prominent? They were, right? I don't know.
No,
Couldn't remember.
his dad
His
was
dad
like
was.
the something something
What about
the White Fang,
Shikamaru?
White Fang.
I guess he was now. He's
Yeah,
blessed
but
with intelligence.
Shikamaru's not a like
Special. He's good.
Shikamaru
Yeah.
is extremely
he
smart. He has a high
yeah,
IQ,
he's intelligent.
but like Shikamaru can do a lot of planning and actually outsmart me because I'm so much stronger than him. It wouldn't matter. Like, for example, let's say he did X, Y, and Z to put me in a shadow possession jutsu, and I'm like, nigga, you're just not strong enough to hold me here. And I walk through that shit. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So
That's a fact.
he's not a genius, and that's like you don't got the bloodline limits for it.
Yeah,
You can't.
he just scaled Shikamaru the best. I wish he would have scaled more characters like that.
Mhm.
He honestly gave him a really incredible showcasing just period. But like he didn't do that for a lot of the other ones, unfortunately. Or it just bits and pieces at times. But Shikamaru's whole entire part of the story, he gives him fucking good showcases.
Yeah.
And it just that's why he looks so raw.
Mhm.
Even Kakashi, he don't really give him a good showcase. So it's just like Shikamaru just lucked out.
Do you think that Naruto has the best fights with the big three? I actually used to hear this a lot of the times, especially from the anime, specifically from the anime standpoint. Most people that I spoke to growing up and stuff, when they would compare like the Bleach to Naruto and the One Piece, they always said that Naruto had the best fights and was like the best choreographed. They went crazy with like the taijutsu and all of that. And I just want to know if you guys do or don't agree with that.
Wait, can I just say? Wait, is Naya's voice only kind of weird for me?
Nope.
No,
For all, but I can still
yeah.
understand them.
Naya's under the weather with internet problems.
Okay, I just.
I can still understand them though. Is it the best? It's actually a really hard question because I wasn't here for the rest of it. But
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
from an emotional, I mean,
hard
Pat kind of put this up earlier. From an emotional standpoint, no, and I care about the aspect a lot.
I think from emotional, I would give it to Bleach. But I think Naruto. I don't think any of the big three lack emotion. Some definitely do it better than the other. But I think if we're looking at like most categories, I think Naruto at least hits each category, even if it's not the best at specific one. So since it's kind of like an all-arounder, I think it's the best.
So I actually think Naruto has the best choreography. Like when it comes to like fighting and stuff, like it's very flashy, it's very entertaining. They have a lot of creativity when they're fighting. But I feel like the emotional moments, especially in Shippuden, fall flat on its fucking face. Like I just don't give a shit about most of the fighting and the conclusions to most of the fights. The conclusions also, this is the problem for the entire series, not just Shippuden. The conclusions for these fights suck overall. And if I had to pick one that had the best fights, I would say Bleach. I think
I'm not
Bleach is
mad
the
as long
all
as you don't
rounder.
say One Piece. As long as you don't say One Piece, I'm okay.
No, One Piece is more so the conclusion, but like when it comes to choreography wise, it's like hit or miss, and then like you have some fights that are much better than others, but they're few and far between.
Is that the best anime? What do you think? What about the anime part? Is that the best anime?
No, the best anime is One Piece.
No, it's not. It's the worst out of big three.
I'm gonna argue that Bleach is the best anime.
I'm gonna go with. Damn, I don't know. I feel like I appreciate Bleach more, but One Piece just has certain. I don't know.
I haven't watched any of their anime in so long I couldn't tell you.
One Piece anime just feels so special. Like even with all its pacing issues, when they get to the episodes that are important to adapt, they nail it.
If we're
Nine
doing
times out of
if we're doing anime, are we including like filler? Can we include filler?
Go ahead if you want to.
Because like
I'm not gonna include
Ble-
filler.
I enjoy like some of the dumb Bleach filler shit where like captains literally come and chill in Ichigo's room, or they go to a school and like hang out. Like stuff like that's just fun.
No,
Like, that
yeah,
really
that stuff,
adds a
that stuff,
lot.
that stuff definitely does add a lot. That's why I don't always mind some
Yeah.
of the stuff. But my only problem with Bleach filler is that there's a whole fucking arc that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think my problem with Bleach's anime is the filler placement. So it's like in the middle of the Weko Mundo arc, we just cut away for 100 something episodes, and I'm just like, dude,
Yeah, that was insane.
like,
Jesus Christ.
like you could have picked a better time to do this. But
And I was
even so,
watching that on a fucking YouTube clip, so I was waiting.
yeah,
Yeah.
even so, the Bleach fillers, like Miles said, are actually really good. The Naruto fillers suck, and not only
No-
do they suck, when the series was over, like the manga was finished, they were still pumping out fillers.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say.
Were they
I
light
was
level
like,
stuff?
bro, what?
Part 1 filler is very, very good. Part 2 is trash. There's not a single good
Curry of
part 2
life.
filler. Part
Like,
1 filler
I
is
stopped.
Part 1 filler is hilarious. It is funny. It is
Yes.
exceptionally funny. It has like very good moments, and you can actually see Naruto being squads with other people. The Curry of Life thing with the Rock League eating the curry and then fighting the legendary swordsman, hilarious. There's an episode with Naruto and Shino are trying to do like this laughing thing, funny. Naruto and then making ramen. Part 1 has a lot of really, really good fillers. Part 2 it's just all around that.
I'm glad y'all remember that stuff, cause sure as hell I don't.
Nah, because
I remember because
stopped
when I was a kid, I
watching-
didn't know filler existed, so I just watched all of Part 1.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I just say I
Same.
don't remember. It's been so long ago.
I stopped watching the Shippuden anime right after the Pain arc, and then I watched a little bit of Five Kage Summit, but I just couldn't do it anymore. So when I was reading the manga, like the shit finished, and I was like, okay, so the anime is about to finish, and then they were like, no, the anime is still doing fillers, and I'm just like, bro, the series finished almost a year ago, and they're still pumping out fillers. Like, Studio Puro honestly does not give a fuck about Naruto, and you can tell just by the way they treat it compared to the way they treat Bleach. Like, Bleach fillers were good, soundtrack was bumping, and they're bringing that shit back. They gave Naruto some of the most backhanded treatment I've ever fucking seen. It's ridiculous. Not to say they didn't deserve it, but
I feel it. Okay, so what about chakra as an energy and/or magic system? How do we feel about it?
I'm gonna put on my chakra hat, okay?
haha.
Kishimoto, we can say what he wants. I think he understood and utilized his power system the best out of the big three. By far.
Explain.
Okay. So
Yeah, please do.
with chakra, there is not a single like thing with chakra that it does that you cannot understand or it hasn't been explained, right? Chakra, we know how it's made, which is the combining of your like life energy, your cells, and your mental energy, right? That's how it's made. You have your allocation of it, its usage of stamina, and like your importance of actually using chakra control so you're not wasting it, yada yada yada, all that stuff. The walking up trees and walking up on water, not only is it useful for actual in combat, but it actually helps you with your chakra control a lot, which is cool. Jutsus are split between your chakra type and your chakra nature, which is the 5 elements, and each one goes in a circular path of which one's better than the other. And then chakra shape. And the combination of these two things gives you different ranks of abilities. So we know how Rasengan works. We know how Rasen Shuriken works. We know how Chidori works. We know how all the basic ones. And then even the ocular, and we know how Kekkei Genkai work, which is, it's just you would have to be born with 2 specific things and have a specific bloodline trait, which is Haku. She has water and or wind and water, and she has a bloodline trait so she can make ice. Cool, you get that. Yeah. Hidden jutsus are just specialized jutsus that are only kept within clans, so technically anybody can do them. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's like if you're like doing Orochimaru thing, it's just clans probably put in the work and time to like really do really, really weird shit. ocular jutsus make sense. Sharingan, we know how it works. As Naya says, the mental illness of the chemical imbalance in your brain makes your eyes go crazy, right? And you have godlike eyes. Then you get, every time, you go through trauma, they get more tomes. It becomes the Mangekyou Sharingan, right? When you have the Mangekyou Sharingan, you get 2 abilities, 1 per eye, and then you get your Susanoo, which rests in your body. If you awaken it not with both, you don't get the Susanoo. That's why Obito and Kakashi didn't have Susanoo, because they each had the Mangekyou separate from each other when they got it. You know what I mean? We understand the process. We understand how the Rinnegan works. We understand how he could split the Rinnegan into different bodies by using the chakra rods. You know what I mean? Everything makes sense and is actually utilized to its full limits. We see the full capabilities and limits of this is what chakra can do. You know what I mean? Bleach, yeah, I agree. The Bankai system is perfect. However, Kido is exceptionally underutilized. Shunko, which is the fusion of, your Hakudo and
Hakura
Kido,
and your Kido, yep.
rarely used. Hiho, your movement. The only person that was ever rocking with it was Byakuya, and we only saw 2 levels. One was a flash step, and then one that was above, which him and Yodorichi used, which is the one like they only the clothing is left or is used. You know what I mean? But we don't see that really mixed and mashed with everything else. One Piece, devil fruits are great, but again, how you think Togashi handles like explaining things, I cannot stand how Oda puts in hockey. This is the most annoying thing of all time. The simple fact that people didn't know that Luffy had future sight or was using it during Katakuri fight shows a lot that this probably isn't being shown in a proper way.
Okay.
Every time we get like a new hockey thing, it's
pushbacks.
bad thing. It's badly shown.
I have
And
2
I mean, I
pushbacks.
have my own other things. Okay, go on.
Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
You sound great.
Okay. My one pushback with One Piece is, while I actually don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, it's not done yet. It's not a complete.
Very true.
It's not a complete thing. But with the Katakuri part specifically, I actually think a lot of people were just incompetent. I actually do not think that's on Oda. I think that's the community being stupid as hell. Because here's the thing. Why would you
Yep.
not believe the person who was using Future Sight going, oh my God, he's using Future... Y'all just refused. You didn't want to believe it, so you didn't until he did what he did in Wano. And then you're like, oh, I guess he is using it. That was not on Oda. That was everyone being stupid. Now, your overall point on hockey, well taken. I'm not combating that. But...
Yep.
That fight itself, there was complete indication that he was trying to calm his mind so that he could see to the future the way Katakuri was, and even had Rayleigh flashbacks telling him people could do this. Like, there was no reason for anyone to be how does Peerless Donuts work? Are you blind, my nigga? He is an awakened user. He is making a mochi donut in the air, hardening it with hockey, and making a fucking fist. You're dumb. That had nothing to do with Oda. So that's all I have to say with those 2. But
yeah, I think Oda knows devil fruits better than hockey, I would say, in its usage, I would say.
But-
Right, and I think the actual execution of that set ability are, like it. I do think it's weird, and there's always gonna be the contention of like whether hockey's important, whether people should have it or not. But I do find it weird that when you're in an SB, your fucking Vivery cards, which are problematic in of themselves, and you're giving people hockey, and they're in this life or death fight in a war, and they wouldn't use observation potentially.
Observation
or
is my biggest
boost
problem.
Attacks. It's kind of it's weird. It's a weird parameter, and so that's why I think, at least with chakra, are some abilities dumb? Yes. Should certain characters have certain abilities? No. However, the actual process of it and how it works and how it's used, I think Kishimoto understand and capitalized well on it.
Okay.
Question. How many?
Yes.
How many? See, you know it very well. So like, not even on no crazy shit. Like that. How many different uses of chakra did you say there were, or how many do you know of?
What do you mean?
Like, how many did you name of the chakra uses, like between all the stuff?
I would say about 10, maybe. Almost like 6 to 10. He said.
Okay.
Maybe,
okay.
I was
Multiple applications.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was just going to ask you. I guess my thing with with chakra, I guess compared to the other two. Even I don't even think like the bleach system is all that complex or anything.
I don't
But,
think any of them are.
But like, did you feel like Kishimoto, as far as creativity, got the most out of chakra?
I do.
I would say to a certain creativity wise, yeah. I think so. Like
Okay.
I've always thought
I
chakra was an
think so.
extremely creative power system.
Because
Or
like,
no,
I think
not the
it's underrated.
creativity. I guess sometimes I guess for me is with how much.
do you think we should
No,
see
how much limited their movesets were.
Yes, okay. I can
Oh,
agree
that's
to
what you
okay.
want to say.
I can
Yeah.
agree with the notion that Joning and certain people should have used more techniques in a fight. Yes, I can agree to that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's.
But I
basically
think
my
with what
thought
we've
process.
seen still showed a lot, right? Like even like when we get the Cloud Ninja, right? We see Darui use storm like lasers, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he's like a
I
storm
was
star.
gonna
He
say,
can use
Miles,
black lightning.
ironically, like the ninja from the Hidden Leaf did not do a good enough showcase of using different properties of chakra, but when he started hopping into his bag with the other villages and showing the joining from like other nations, they were much
That's why
more
I always
creative.
wanted. That's why I always wanted to see more.
Yeah, to me, I think the weirdest thing about Konoha is it's the land of fire. Yeah, I don't think we saw the like the only people that we saw that were really really competent were fire with Uchiha. Like even early
Yeah.
on in Sasuke, we see Sasuke do a lot of different fire moves. You know what I mean? Maybe not a lot.
I would
but, like,
say at the
competent amount.
Shinobi War, that's when they actually started applying like the fireball jutsu. Like we saw when they were doing
Yeah.
the team attack on the Ten Tails host or whatever. But
Yeah.
aside from that, like you're not wrong. Like it was mostly just Uchiha clan members using fireball jutsu, Phoenix Flower, Dragon Flame, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and another cool thing is that like people have affinities towards chakra types, right? But you can learn every single type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just training. Like that's why they said joning all joning should know 2 or 3 types because you can train with it. That's why Sarutobi having 5 was like such a great thing. But I mean, you know that kind of gets retconned with everybody apparently having so many different types and stuff. But yeah.
But that's also why I asked about the creativity.
I got
Just
one.
like-
I guess I got one thing to ask because, like, for me, I honestly don't have a problem with chakra. I don't think it's great, bad, or whatever. I think it's serviceable. I think it works. It's kind of my opinion. That's kind of like my general opinion. But it's like when they started adding yin and yang and sage, and then now you have 3 natures. I'm like, okay. To me, if from what I could recall, it was kind of a jarring, out of nowhere particle star. I'm like, wait, where'd that come from? Like,
Okay.
I do think that how you introduce your power system goes hand to hand with how well people will take it.
Okay, I'll say this, right? The yin and yang, this is weird because the Viz calls it actual light and dark, so it has different names. I agree. He never properly stated outright their uses. However, they were always used with like the hidden jutsus, like Shikamaru's is technically a yin style because it's like the spirit mind. Same with Ino. And then Choji's the yang, which is like the expansion jutsu and shit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying
it's
earlier.
there,
Like, there's
but, like, he
always
didn't
2 sides of the coin.
Express it as well as he
techniques
could have.
and-
I agree.
Yeah, there's always 2 sides of a coin with techniques. Like just like how Izanagi like came forth. Like when I saw
That was
Izanagi,
BS.
I was like,
That's BS.
it was BS. But at the same time, it's like I knew there was a flip side to that technique because if there's a jutsu that allows you to reincarnate yourself after you die, there has to be another jutsu that traps you in a loop. So then when Itachi used Izanami, I was like, oh, see, that makes perfect sense. Even though it shouldn't have been fucking showcased or utilized in that sense. But I didn't have a problem with the way it was introduced because I knew there had to be something more to it.
Man,
Also,
what's the
wait.
jutsu that that Obito used versus Conan? That's the most bullshit moment in Naruto.
That was Izanagi.
Couldn't
He
believe it.
used Izanagi.
Okay, yeah, that's the most bullshit thing
Yes.
I've ever seen in my life. I think that's the most bullshit thing I might have seen in a manga fight. Like,
Yes,
I mean,
agree.
it's not bullshit because he
Nah, it
still
is,
like
man.
suffered the proper consequence where
I
like
don't- I don't-
you
I don't
use
think
Izanagi, you can't see.
I don't think losing an eye is a proper consequence for reality warping. I doubt it.
I mean, for them, since they rely so heavily on their eye, then I guess it is because you can never use it again.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
real bullshit came afterwards, where he had like a fucking lab full of Uchiha Sharingan eyes.
Well, that
somewhere.
makes sense because they killed them all. But like again, it's just like I think Kishi tried to like kind of write in. It's not super broken by giving Donzo 11 and still losing a fight. I don't care. It's still a trash ability.
Yeah, and that
And
arm
like
is
I
that
said,
arm
also,
that arm
it
giving me
was
the
bad.
heebie-jeebies. By this side note, it's really off-putting. It's freaky.
No, it
What,
is.
his arm?
Yeah, Donzo's arm. I hate it.
What the hell is I was finna say?
Yeah, I agree. I to me, I think this is funny. When I was a kid, the most scary thing was Sasuke's second transformation. That freaked me out as a kid.
Mhm.
I like that. I always like that.
I saw those hands come out. I was like, yeah, there's no way.
What was I
All
finna
right.
say? I
Um.
lost track. Oh, I'll get back to it later, I guess.
Okay. If you remember, just interject. I want to talk about some misconceptions about the series. So, what do people misremember and get wrong? Do you guys think it's kind of like a propaganda thing because it's kind of cool and fun to bash Naruto? Some series it's cool to pick on them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm not the one to ask for this. It's on y'all.
Like,
'Cause I probably ran plenty
why
of
do you
things.
well, like what do you think some things like because like one thing about like that Pat made clear to me with some stuff about Bleach is that there was some things that I just had misinformation about for whatever reason. Like, do you think there's some things you'll misremember and get wrong? Like, what do you think?
No, I don't think so because
Oh.
people love this series to death.
Oh,
So they remember everything they're supposed to.
Hmm.
This is the most talked about, other than One Piece being ongoing. This is the
Yeah.
most talked about in series
don't-
like ever. So
I think
like,
for
I
me,
don't-
the only contention is just when people like it was just more power scaling stuff rather than actual in.
yeah, getting
canon,
stuff
like,
wrong
yeah.
from the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, people don't really argue things from this series like that.
Yeah.
Other than the theme we just talked about, that's the only arguing point that happens a lot.
Yeah, that's
it-
the only thing these niggas care about is like the emotional moments and the fights.
I guess my thing again would just be the differences like in the anime and manga where it's just like Naruto didn't have friends, yada yada. We went over that, but yeah. Other than
I went over
that,
how he actually had friends like Shikamaru
Yeah,
the entire
yeah.
time, even though he said he had nobody.
yeah, they
I
didn't
mean,
have that was something
Yeah, I
the
mean,
anime
listen,
added.
if Kishimoto would have wrote he had depression, I would have believed him. Because if you have like depression or something, you can be like, I actually have friends, but I feel like nobody close to me. But that's not how he stated it. He
I
stated
don't
it
like the
literally
second
as
part
in,
of this
like,
question, Naya, where you say, do people make fun of it because it's cool to bash it? People love it. I don't think people bash it enough. That's my
No,
stance.
I think
Okay,
people.
that's interesting.
No, I think people do bash it enough.
I don't think so.
I
Because
guess
there's
it's
so
me.
much revisionist history with this shit. People talk about the war is not that bad. Oh, Naruto's really good. Like, bro, listen to yourself. You're fucking lying to me. When we were fucking reading the war weekly for like 5 straight years, I was there on Twitter when people were complaining every single week. And then now all of a sudden those same people talk about it wasn't that bad. You're lying.
I gotta agree with that.
I
I
guess
mean,
maybe.
I've never changed on that point. So.
I personally had a huge paradigm shift during the 5 Kage Summit thing. That's when I really started my interest started to plummet. That's the best I can say. Like all things considered, I had my highs and lows, ups and downs, but I was pretty okay until Sasuke was doing the nonsense he was doing there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
because
me too.
I would argue
you
most
have to
people.
start-
Sorry, hold on. I would argue most people started having a problem during the 5th Ninja War. To me, it was when Sasuke was at the 5 Kage Summit. I'm like, this is not moving me.
Really?
Yeah, and and maybe you can explain this to me, because maybe you understand it better. I honestly take issue personally with kind of how the Sharingan work, because like it seemed to me that like look, I don't understand the idea of Itachi being blind, Sasuke being blind, you taking his eyes and now your eyes are better. That didn't make sense to me. Now I got the Mangekyo. I don't know if there was some secret thing I don't remember, but go ahead.
The way I took it is your eyes kind of have, like for Sharingan specifically, have their own specific kind of like chakra. I guess what's the word? Not nature, but like their own like chakra, like residue, existence, whatever, right? So the chakra remains. It's the effect on the eyes that happens, which is turning it blind. The power of like the chakra would remain. So when you're giving it, it's kind of like that mixing and matching of like that family chakra of like the brothers that creates this new chakra that helps you create new eyes.
Okay, so it's magic. Okay.
Yeah,
See, I'm glad somebody like you exists who understands all
That's
this
why I
stuff.
wanted him. That was one of the reasons why I wanted him there.
I just read this shit. I'm like, that's bullshit.
my main issue with it is not the application of like putting somebody's eyes into your eyes. It's just the constant buffing of the Sharingan
Uchiha.
like over and over and over again. We keep adding new abilities to this shit. And I'm just like, bro, we're doing too much at this point. Like at the end of the series, right? When Obito died, he died. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden from death, somehow Kakashi gets both Sharingan and he was able to do a perfect Susanoo, which should have been impossible, by the way, because he didn't have the body of an Uchiha.
I can explain
Because-
that actually.
Can you?
Yeah. So
But is it a good?
No,
oh,
it's-
okay,
it's-
go ahead.
Can you?
it's not.
All
I
right,
don't think
let's
it,
go.
I don't think it's good, but it's because we have to remember that Obito's body was still remoted and he still did retain some of the Sage of Six Paths chakra. That's why he didn't die after he did the Rene rebirth on Madara. Remember? And they specifically said, "Oh, you still have that. That's why you're still alive." So
I
when
remember
he
that much. Yeah.
yeah, so when he transferred his eyes, it still retained some of that Sage of Six Path chakra, which would then give him which would be above the Mangaki, which would give him the ability to do the ultimate Susanoo.
That's not moving me, big dog. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't blame you. I
He said he's just giving
I
you the reason.
yeah, I'm giving you the reason. That doesn't mean I like it. Like, to me, I think the moment that Naruto shifted and became trash, I know it's chapter 599. I know this chapter. It is the
Oh, he know
chapter.
the exact chapter.
It is when we see Obito's face reveal, and the next chapter is the backstory. Okay.
Oh, my
This
God.
is what I'll say. I will give it to Kishimoto for having an entire backstory without dialogue and convey the point. I will give him that. That is good. I like that. However, the concept of magically every single adult we've ever seen is somehow in the same age and same class as Kakashi and them, whatever. Kakashi's training with these guys, but he's supposed to be tuning already and like taking the test, yada yada. It was just a lot of retcons. And that's just kind of where we kind of just go down this slowly dragging hill of shit we don't care about. I think that's literally the change. When we like get Obito's reveal, that's when Naruto started going downhill. I think everything before that's relatively fine. I think the beginning of the works is good because we actually see other ninja do shit.
All things
the
considered, I
beginning-
think
the
my
beginning was
problem
good.
was, I think it's interesting in a way because I guess you wanted to mix the old generation with the new generation. Like I understood the idea, like I really did. I just don't. I would argue the execution was a little bit flawed, but like I'll be like a bit transparent. Like I really don't like Sasuke, and I told you guys I hate that entire clan. I am with
Nobody hates
Tobirama.
Sasuke
I'm
more
with
than
him,
you, man.
but
Nobody hates Sasuke more than me. I
Tobirama
talk
was
about
definitely the
all,
best Hokage.
but-
Let's
I
not
talk
get
about
twisted. I
off
agree
that
with
kid
that.
every chance I can get.
yeah, and like my issue with that arc, I think too, was like I'm like if I'm off track, like recenter me because I might be misremembering. So Sasuke pulls up, he fights like some samurai, he's fighting the Kage, right? Kage, blah blah blah. He fights the Mizukage a bit and everything, and then after when he fights Danzo,
Yeah.
He fights Gar. Yeah, he fights Gar. And then
Gar a
he
little bit
fights
too and Danzo
Danzo.
and everything, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yes.
okay, like he like pretty much went all out, and then Kakashi and Sakura come, and then Naruto comes, and then they clash evenly with Naruto. This nigga got like no chakra left. There's no way your first Sengun should not have blown to his fucking hand. Like I'm so upset. Like I had so many small little
what I'm
details there.
saying, bro.
Because
It's so
honestly,
much
Miles,
stuff.
I understand. Like I do not have this like the magnifying glass on power scaling to the degree most people do, but I like when shit makes sense. That didn't make sense to me
I
because
agree.
Naruto. I know he was poisoned, but like I'm like Naruto. You have, nigga. Do you know how many strong ass rank ninjas he just fought? He is tired. He's talking about my eyes. I can't see. Oh, I'm blind. How did he Jitori clash with you? No, Naruto Sengun should have blown him the fuck back. But
That's what I'm saying.
Even if he wasn't tired, it's straight up.
because of the
doesn't make sense to me in the
is
middle
it-
of combat. That just pisses me off.
Well, no, I just think the moment Naruto got Sage Mode, that point on, he was just always stronger than Sasuke. It just was never a competition at that point anymore. There's nothing Sasuke could do.
Mhm.
He just became head and shoulders above. And every time they got a power up, the gap only increased.
I feel
Nah, Naruto had a nerf his love for Sasuke.
Yes,
Oh my god.
very
Because
true.
if it was me fighting Sasuke,
Mm.
he would have been gone. That time Kakashi tried to separate him when Naruto.
I
did
think
the
this is a good
Rasengan after
segue,
the
though.
water thing.
Wait,
Because-
I would've
actually,
gotten
I
rid
do
of
have
it.
something that's misremembered. I do want to say
oh shit, go ahead.
Okay.
it's Sakura.
What about her?
What about
I
her?
don't think Sakura's
Her
as
being good?
useless as bad as people think.
I've
Nah,
always
she's not useless,
given her
she's just
credit as a
pathetic.
medical ninja. That's about it though. That's where it starts and ends with
well,
me.
one,
But she has better chakra control than Naruto and Sasuke.
yes, which I think
that is
people
true.
highly underrate.
They have-
I don't
they-
think
But the
Oh, go
problem with that, Miles, is that ties into like why does that matter if they have so much they can spam what they're spamming? You feel what I'm saying?
But,
But
but
my
go
thing
ahead,
is,
go ahead.
I've never called her useless. My problem is she's just not a good character.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'm not
saying.
really
She's not
utilize her,
useless.
period.
She's just
Well,
pathetic.
there's two-
That's all it is.
I'll say two things with her. One with the power thing. The chakra control is cool because that's what makes her a good medical ninja, and she got the 100
And
seals.
like
Yada,
the
yada, yada.
punch, and she could punch like Tsunami shit too. Yeah,
Yeah,
chakra
yeah,
control.
yeah,
Like, well,
yada,
fair
yada.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I also don't think it's fair that when we have to remember that, and this is the always thing with anime. I think we like some people, even I forget sometimes. Is like we kind of live longer and have a relationship with the characters more so than the characters themselves in the story, right? The Straw Hats have been together for less than a year. We've been with the Straw Hats for like a decade plus, some longer. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So with Sakura, the part one happens over like a 3-month time span. How is Sakura supposed to get that much stronger and compete with these guys in that time frame? When she does get the 2-year, 3-year time skip, she does become strong. We see her fight Sasori, and actually was one of the main reasons they beat Sasori. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So uses after, yeah, she was kind of just more of like, you know, the healer, yada yada yada. But even in the war, she healed. She does her job, yada. And then again with the I understand people's hatred with Sakura loving Sasuke. However, I'm gonna ask all of you guys this as guys, right? Have you
I'm
ever
already
done
I'm already
something-
mad at you. I'm already mad at you because you probably right, go ahead.
Have you ever done something for a girl that you probably shouldn't have? Have you ever pined after a girl for a long time when you probably should have cut her off? Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
listen.
I knew he was going there.
I'm gonna give it to you like this. Yes, I have. But at the
Thank
same
you.
time, if they've ever told me that they hated me, that they tried to kill me, that they said something really disgusting to me, anything like that, it turned into instant hatred, and I wanted them
Hey,
gone.
Vince,
I have
Vince, but they're a ninja though. It's different.
I have
Oh,
I have so much pride and ego and self respect. So the moment he's something like that, I might have had to body you. I mean, you have to die. I might have to kill you
Ninja.
myself.
listen, I can
Hey,
understand.
I hear what you're saying,
I
though.
can
I hear what you're saying.
understand.
But no,
No,
I
here's
think
the thing.
Sasuke went too far. Personally, I do.
But
I do.
My thing is, it's not just her problem. Here's my thing.
Naruto too.
The moment he became a ninja terrorist and he came back to the village, and remember what's his face was like, you're finna use that move on them right now? Like, I'm like, oh, he was serious.
Who'd he
He
terrorize?
really tried to get rid of us.
Who'd he terrorize?
Listen, bro, he terrorized enough for me. He terrorized me throughout this manga. That's enough.
I'm just saying, man. Like, you know, they're ninja. Death.
Man, I get look, man, I
Death
get it.
ain't
That don't
nothing
mean
but a
it's
friend to
not-
them.
it's
They know,
not a-
you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Man, I would've- I would've
I'm not mad at that, but I'm not mad at that.
See,
But
see,
I
here's
do
my-
I
here's my
do
thing
think
too.
Sakura does get a lot of I guess like hatred, but like hate, but like
Yeah.
through a lens of misinformation. I think I can agree with that.
Well,
But
Yeah.
I would,
Here's
but
my-
she's
but
not
everyone
what
else
she
in
is.
here, I don't know about Griever. I've never really like looked at her and been like I probably forget she exists. If anything, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't really think about Sakura in any negative
Well,
light.
Yeah,
Just
she's
like
not. She's
man.
nowhere near my favorite
No,
character.
I don't
Let's-
really think about it that hard.
Whoa,
either,
whoa,
but-
whoa! Let's talk about Sakura for just half a minute because we can. I think substantially most of us and most of the haters of Naruto can agree that the big problem with Naruto is the main three is Team 7, and a lot of people attribute Sakura as being the reason as to why. I argue, no, she is not, because
Absolutely.
simply put,
Mhm.
Naruto's toxic relationship with Sasuke.
He said that shit toxic.
That shit is toxic as fuck. That's the most toxic friendship. Listen, I was best friends with a guy since 8th fucking grade, and right before the week before his wedding, literally 3 years ago, that's when the friendship ended. I was supposed to be a groomsman. That's the level I'm talking about, and that shit isn't as toxic as Naruto and Sasuke. I'm telling you right now, and that shit was way shorter.
See.
So-
To compound your point, I was gonna say that my problem with a lot of things with that too is I see Naruto kind of the same way that I see like Emma from Promised Neverland. It's just like, man, listen, we do not all have to go along with you just because you're you. Like, if it was me, like I know they technically did do this, but they didn't have like a specific like one-on-one dialogue. Because if I was somebody, especially in Naruto's circle, kind of in the circle, kind of not, everybody kind of just bends to Naruto's will. I'm telling him, hey, look,
No,
that guy right there,
Look,
he a terrorist. He
What's
tried
up?
to he tried to
I'll-
do
let me
his shit.
say
no,
just gotta
and
kill you.
no, wait a minute. You're forgetting
they
Sakura.
wanted to.
Sakura literally went up to Naruto and said, "I'll be your whore if you don't go after Sasuke."
Nah,
You
that
guys
was
all
a
forget
bad
that chapter?
character moment.
No,
for
I don't.
Sakura.
But I
That
don't think
shit
about
was
it because
terrible.
Well,
That
okay,
is literally
the,
what
ro-
she
the,
basically
rom-
said.
the romance has always been pathetic.
Wait,
She
let me-
said
let me-
she. Well, all right. I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing a little bit there, but what she basically said was, basically, you've been in love with me this whole time, and I was just like, yeah, like, well, then I'm in love with you too, and he's like, a little sus. For once, Naruto gained a brain for one chapter in the entire series. It's like, I don't know about that. And then fucking she goes, no, seriously, because she didn't want him to go after Sasuke. Everyone knew, and even Inu and Shikamaru and everyone was going there and saying, look, can you convince Naruto to fucking not go after that terrorist?
No. I need violent comeback. I don't need no everybody be nice to him. Look here, you son of a bitch. We not doing this.
See, the point
Well-
is that at the end of the day, Sakura might be a like dead weight, but at least
That's a
she's
strong
not
word.
toxic. She didn't do
She-
anything.
She is kind. Okay. Well,
These
one.
dudes are
Initially, she's a
destroying
liability.
The ninja world over
Yeah.
the fact that they couldn't admit it, they were gay for each other or some shit. Like
This
Christ
is
sakes.
I'm gonna
Brian.
put on my Naruto hat. Okay.
All right.
One. I'll say this. Shikamaru and them actually they did say fuck Sasuke when Naruto left for them during the Kage War. Remember, they were all planning like, we're gonna capture this guy, and if need be, we're gonna kill him. The only one that was kind of against it was Naruto, somewhat Sakura, and Ino. They were the only ones.
Mhm.
And then that's when Naruto just dipped. He pretended he was like doing whatever, and he just left. So.
Well,
the
you know
Sa-
better
the
than me.
Na-
You remember these
The
things,
Naruto
dude.
and
Yeah,
Sasuke.
you
thing-
remember better than me too.
The Naruto and Sasuke thing is 1000% toxic, but I think it's supposed to be, right? Because they're supposed to be the parallels of Hashirama and Madara, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya. And the whole point is, Jiraiya, Hashirama, and all these guys, they gave up on their best friend. Remember, Jiraiya had no qualms with killing Orochimaru at the point in his age. You mean,
Which he should have. Honestly,
Hashirama-
I'm
The
sorry.
point is- the point
I'm
is-
sorry. When somebody reaches a certain threshold, it's not
Naruto
wrong
was
to give
wrong.
up on them.
yeah,
He was supposed to kill Sasuke. Sasuke's
But-
wrong.
but this is kind of going with the Sasuke thing. I'm gonna say this one.
I know I'm on
and
going with this.
This is the weird thing, and this is why I think Kubera does it the best with the redemption thing, is Sasuke never went too far. Like, he was with Orochimaru, he was with the Akatsuki, but we never saw Sasuke on screen just actually killing people. Ever. And that's, like, the weird thing, right?
I
see
recall
we-
Orochimaru say you're still soft because they were alive. I think you might have a point.
Yes, he literally, like, they beat, like, 100 ninja, and they're over the battlefield, he's like, you didn't kill a single one.
I want.
You know what I mean?
I have one pushback. That's dramatic irony on our part. We know that. The rest
Right.
of the ninja world is not knowing
Yes.
that though.
Exactly,
That's
that's,
fair.
my
Right.
point. That's
That's fair.
exactly my point. Yeah.
That's fair.
Because
But
you
I'm
can
saying,
argue,
like,
you can argue for a
but
lot
that's
of
what I'm
these
saying.
characters.
I'm
We
saying
never
for
see them
us,
kill
right?
anybody.
us right now, Sasuke was never really over the deep end. Yeah, he wanted to kill the elders and do this shit, and honestly, he was right too. Danzo and the elders never made a single good decision in all of Naruto. They were
What?
gone.
I
Danzo
agree
can
with
go,
that.
bro. I'm
They
joking.
needed to
Danzo's
go.
honestly kind of mid.
They needed to go. Danzo's an idiot. He's a moron. I think he's arguably the dumbest, like one of the dumbest characters in Naruto.
He's also a
Truly.
coward. And
Yeah.
nigga missed out on
Yes.
being Hokage because he was
His
scared to go
his
fight.
plans were actually stupid, but and then with the Naruto and Sasuke thing, their relationship is like that toxic thing, but like Sakura did curse Naruto with Sasuke right when they were kids because
Yeah, she did.
and yeah, we can say it's an inadvertent thing that she did, but she also knows Naruto's personality, right? Like we know Naruto's track of he's very much a relationships person because he never had that. When he gets it, he's going to hold on to it and treasure it because he never had it. And that only compiled with the girl he loved tells him, please bring back this person for our like friend group. You know what I mean? And him failing only made it worse. And then he sees like his master going through the same thing and him giving up. And he's like, I have to do better. You know what I mean? Now, could the execution be better with all of the crap with Naruto and Sasuke? 1000%. I'm never gonna knock, like, the execution could always be better. But like I think the relationship for the most part is actually makes sense. And even like someone in part 2, Naruto lets the Sasuke shit kind of be on the back burner. The biggest part of Naruto really want to see Sasuke is after the 2 years, and that's like I'm trying to test myself, and he sees him. But like after that, Naruto actually does do and not really worry about Sasuke, and like actually goes and progresses with other shit. Sasuke is important, but he's not his number one priority. It's not until like he physically sees him. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Which
hey, listen, you're definitely you made your point very accurate. My whole thing at the end of the day is I don't really like characters. So
And
like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
like
Yeah,
Naruto, like those
I
super
agree.
super idealistic characters, like I don't necessarily have a problem with them. My problem is when they become a centerfold like this, where it feels like they get seemingly to almost no pushback a lot of the times for
I can agree.
being them.
We
And he
spoke
gets like,
on that
It's
earlier.
like
Yeah.
it's like the Bam effect.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, see, at least Bam got the red witches. Now Naruto really don't even got that. Like, but yeah, the same thing though.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't just have this living for this person I became a part of their party member for type shit.
I'm just
Honestly,
gonna say this real
it's
quick,
not.
Vince. To keep going, like since I think we're on the top, we're basically on the topic right now because we've been talking about Naruto and Sasuke. So I want to talk about how we feel about them as the characters overall in the series. We mostly had focused on their relationships, but Naruto and Sasuke specifically as a protagonist and their antagonist. Like, how do you think they are and how they're handled? Like, what do you think?
All
about
right,
that?
so personally speaking,
Mhm.
just all agenda, bias, hatred, everything, I don't like either one of them
Okay.
at all.
Mhm.
But if I had to eject them fairly, throw that all out the door, or not all of it, but you know, my levels to it. Uh Sasuke is done really well in some ways. Like I think his showcasing is always cool. Uh, he has some of the best moments in that particular series. A lot. Um,
And
what else? Nice.
I was the one thing I was saying about Sasuke is in hindsight, I didn't know that the story admitted that he's a tool. I didn't realize that until I reread it. I think
Yeah.
Itachi says he's like a blank canvas, something like that. I might be misquoted. I don't remember it verbatim, but basically, like anyone could kind of paint him to his color because he's so like kind of lost or whatever the case is.
Absolutely.
I didn't recall the narrative itself admitting that. So he is so like Kishimoto was telling me, yeah, he's a tool. Like you tell him the right things, you whisper some sweet things in his ear, and you might get him to do what you want him to do. So
Oh, absolutely.
I hate
But,
both of them though. Actually, but again, like
yeah.
I said earlier, I do think Naruto actually does not start off bad. I think Kid Naruto actually is a lot more palatable. Like he's fine, honestly.
Yeah,
don't think
I
he's
agree.
even-
I 100% agree with that.
yeah.
But I'm gonna let somebody else speak.
Naruto loses me because like this is kind of the discussion I'll be having with my girlfriend sometimes because I'm like, yo, it's like well taken what I'm seeing what you're trying to do, but it's not. It might not hit me personally. I might not think you executed it well because I really, really, I'm so sorry. Like, I understand that this is supposed to be such a great character moment and like this like moment of forgiveness, but you cannot call the murderer of your parents or at least a catalyst for why they died the coolest guy ever. It does not
Oh,
sit right with any cell in my body, with any fiber of my being and soul. I reject it wholeheartedly. I can't do it. It's like when I seen that trial with that one cop. I think she was in the wrong house and she shot the guy, and then the judge and her were hugging. No, I don't want to see that. That's not moving me. I can't. I can't. I can't do that. I love freedoms is too much. I understand that the point, like Naruto, somewhat quote unquote saves people in the ninja world because no matter what they've done, he's always willing to try to give them another chance and see the good in them. But fuck all that shit, bro.
Yeah, I can't do it.
y'all niggas keep stealing my thunder before I get a chance to speak on it.
All right, I mean, go ahead.
Now, well, I was gonna say when they were, because the question is both with Naruto and Sasuke, right?
Yeah.
So when they were kids, I was very, very high on Naruto, and I was like kind of middling on Sasuke. Like Sasuke was cool, but like I didn't really care about him that much. Like I liked seeing him fight or whatever, but as for his personality, I thought he was kind of stuck up. But Naruto was endearing. The village hated him. He wanted to prove himself. He was like, I'm not a loser. I work hard. He had all the like underdog traits going for him. And like when it came time to put up or shut up, he kind of froze that first time when he saw some real combat. He got shook a little bit. And then what he do? Stabbed himself. He was like, all right, no more of that shit. And ever since then, he flipped on his head and then he started fighting people every time somebody tried to step to him. So I was like, all right, I'm rocking with it. And like Miles said, like every time he trained, like I could see him like working hard. Like he couldn't get it at first, but then he kept sticking with it and eventually he would get it. It was satisfying. I liked Naruto a lot when he was a kid. My favorite moment from him when he was a kid was probably like when he kind of got the basics of Rasengan down in like 3 days and hit Kabuto with that shit. That was like one of the best moments in the entire series. Now, when Shippuden comes, or post time skip as you will, I started to realize that even though Naruto had gotten bigger and gotten older, his mindset had not changed. And it was a big problem for me because, like, even though he was saying, like, you know, oh, I understand you went through this, but like, there's another way. And, like, he was being preachy to people, like when he talked to Gara or like when he talked to Sasuke. And like, I mean, Gara listened to what he had to say because he beat him, and Sasuke wasn't trying to listen to what he had to say because he wanted to kill Itachi. But like, I was like, the world that they're living in, it doesn't work for what you're trying to tell them. But you're
See
you're you're a kid, so
that
it's okay. You're naive. You haven't seen the world yet. But then he got older and he was still on this shit, and I was like, bro, your your quote unquote best friend just left you 2 years ago because he wasn't listening to that bullshit that you was trying to speak. The enemies that you're fighting now are like actually trying to kill you. Like they're not having any reservations about doing this shit. They're committing atrocities and stuff like that, and you're still trying to talk them through it. And it came to a head in the Pain arc, like I said earlier, when Pain asked him a legitimate fucking question, and he didn't have the answer. And Pain was just like, okay, I believe you. And he completely reverted all the consequences and stakes in that arc. And that was the most peak example of fake tension I've ever seen in my life. And it pissed me off. And then when the Hidden Cloud niggas came, because they're like, oh, Sasuke, da da da, took Killer B from us. How are you going to rectify this situation? What does he do? Instead of being like, all right, Sasuke wronged these people, let's go find Sasuke and then like, arrest him or whatever the fuck. A logical conclusion. He's like, I know you're upset. So instead of taking it out on Sasuke, just beat me up. What? What? And then he's like, oh, Sasuke did this, this, and that. And then he started foaming at the mouth and then had a panic attack and he passed out later on. I
that
was
was
like,
funny.
bruh,
That's one of the funniest things ever.
like you cannot get more pathetic than this. Like it was just, it's so egregious. And then like Naya said earlier, when we get to the Shinobi War, You talk about some don't talk bad about Obito. To me, he was the coolest guy. Just because both of y'all wanted to be Hokage, he was the coolest guy. You know how
See,
many
Pat,
niggas in this series wanted to be Hokage?
see,
Like, what are you
bro,
talking about?
everybody, Kiba wanted to be Hokage, but see, Pat, you make it you did a good job of because I couldn't even explain it, but I can tell you the very first time I started to not like Naruto, in the start of the Chunin exam when they're supposed to be taking the written test, and he gets out of the written test by making that dumbass speech.
Oh, brother.
That was the first time. That was the first time I knew what type of time he was on. I was like, did he just convince? I was like, did he just convince the teacher to pass him with a speech about what? About huh? And like for me, and then another thing, I think my
Nah.
base.
Passing a test without answering a single question, go, bro. Nah. That's actually
Wait,
go.
but no, wait. I just want to say no. The whole point was just like, are you willing to
Yeah.
remember?
Are you willing
They
to
have a
risk?
special
Yeah.
question.
That was good. It was
Man, I don't care about that, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. See, now I gotta turn the agenda hater back on. Oh, man, listen, bro. Some kid get up and try to tell me, a grown ass man, and give me a speech like that. I'm telling, sit your ass down and finish that test, man. Stop talking to me.
I would have
Like, what are
called
you
him back
talking?
in, like, bro, you gotta answer one of these right. You can't be
like,
you can't be this dumb on the field. I'm joking. I know they're supposed to be like really advanced questions. They didn't know. I remember it well. Don't worry.
I mean, for me, my thing is, if he telling that, and I'll probably be on like some Gilgamesh type shit. Like, kid, you amuse me. I'm gonna just let you go because I don't give a fuck. That shit was funny. Some shit like that. There you go. You can pass because of that. You're not moving me with that though.
Yeah, so that's how I feel about Naruto. I think he's actually the worst main character I've ever fucking seen. Because the shit that he just does,
That's crazy.
it's so egregious to me. Like, it just makes me physically ill when I look at him. Like, your mindset is disgusting. Because it's like the theme of Naruto itself is because the nature of the shinobi world is dark and violent, and you have to do underhanded things from time to time. They're going to breed a cycle of hatred. So what Kishimoto is trying to portray here is that cycle of hatred is very toxic, and it's not like applicable to life. So you should have it in your heart to be able to forgive people from time to time. But the less that he goes to forgive people would just disgust me. Like, I can't. Nobody who kills my parents will ever get my forgiveness. Ever. Never
See,
in
but
life.
forgiveness does not mean people have to go unpunished. Is my problem too.
I agree.
Because I can forgive Sasuke and not give up on him, and still think he needs to go to jail. like you can have both. You can have both.
So does Orochimaru by the logic.
Yeah, he's the worst one.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. He might be a great character. He might be a far better character than Sasuke. But that man needs to go to jail a couple of dozen times.
Jail? No, he needs the death penalty.
You gotta
He's
be
unredeemable.
Yeah.
Now with Sasuke, right? Like I said in the beginning, like I wasn't really caring much about Sasuke, but in the second half, he had the right idea most of the time because the way the world had dealt him such a shitty hand, he only went about it the way that a normal person would. Like, he trying to get even with whatever caused this situation because he didn't deserve that shit. He didn't deserve to have his brother kill his whole fucking family. He didn't deserve to have to find out that his brother actually was ordered to do this after his brother's already dead. So when he fucking went around trying to kill the elders, I was on board with him with that. So that's why the Five Kage Summit was raw to me. Now, all that shit afterwards, where he was like, I'm gonna destroy the Hidden Leaf, or Revolution, I wasn't with that. So I'm still indifferent on Sasuke. But like, if you had to ask me to pick a person from Team 7 that I like the most, it would be Sasuke.
That's a good argument.
Are we including Kakashi for Team 7?
No.
Who cares?
Because
I like Kakashi.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's out of them, if it's out of the four of them, I would pick Kakashi.
Yeah, I'm picking Kakashi.
Yeah, everyone would pick Kakashi, who's read a fucking story.
Otherwise, I'd probably pick Naruto. All things considered.
You would pick Naruto. That's surprising.
Yeah, I probably would too. I can't win though.
Yeah, it's like I'm picking like it's bad versus evil. Like no matter what I pick, my soul hurts.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I feel that.
So, but
you get called the person who caused his life to suck from the moment he was born. The coolest guy. That is just so
Listen,
but-
nasty.
One of the biggest problems I have with Naruto as a main character came a little later. I never liked Naruto, and that's for like a multitude of reasons. One of the biggest things was everyone called him the underdog story, and it just wasn't fucking true. And Kishimoto put it in black and goddamn white that it wasn't true, and everyone still wants me to believe that this guy is just as good a character, even though everyone who was toting how good a character he was using the underdog story to do it. I just don't buy it. It's like Deku. That's not an underdog story. That's a dude handed Superman's powers. He's not Batman. He's Superman. It's not an underdog. It's a dude with the power of Goku. Goku worked for his power. He's an underdog. He was a lower class Saiyan. Fucking Vegeta didn't work for his power, worked for it later. But we have an elitist in Dragon Ball Z. We have literally two underdogs by the end of the story who are basically breaking the anime universe if they wanted to. But neither one of them would be considered a Superman, even though the comparisons are there. But Deku, Naruto, all these people, it's like they were handed this shit. Their genes, their lineage, their, you know, like,
The
oh my god,
reincarnation of
Naruto,
Ninja
I just so
Jesus'
happened to
sons.
steal into the scroll and get the ultimate shadow clone version, and I used that to bump myself up a couple of steps, and then I got some great fucking mentors, the one in a million. Oh my god, I ran into the Rayleigh of Naruto. Who'da thunk it? And he
The
taught me
Rayleigh
how
of
to do shit.
Naruto.
I mean, white hair, old dude, one of the most
Pervy.
powerful in the verse, whatever, you know. But I ran into this dude, and he taught me how to use my power properly, you know. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? Like I understand the whole argument against real life versus manga, but you don't take Wayne Gretzky and throw him on the ice and assume that he's not going to be able to fucking skate any more than I think I can throw Michael Jordan on a basketball court and assume the man's not going to be able to do a fucking basket at 9 years old. You know why? Because they did it at 9 years old. They did it before then. So, like, natural talent is a thing. You know? So
Yeah.
I just don't buy what Kishimoto was doing with Naruto, and that makes me fucking hate Naruto from the ground up because Kishimoto tried to sell me a character that never existed in the first place.
Here, I have a question.
Okay.
Shoot.
I never thought of this until rather like when I did this reread, and it's. I wonder if it was a misinterpretation on our part of the underdog part being more specifically something of a mental aspect rather than the physical stuff, right? So like, it's just like weird how he does it, but like multiple times throughout the story, he calls everybody gets the word genius thrown at them in some way. And I know it doesn't make sense logically.
Genius of
right?
hard
Like,
work.
Lee is
blah,
called,
blah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Lee's called a genius of hard work. That's not like a thing, but like I understand. So like I always wonder if him when he always says Naruto's the underdog, when we take it as like, well, he can't control his powers. He doesn't have this shit. They call him a dunce. We incorporate that part into it logically because that's kind of how it's shown. But I think he might have been just trying to show like, no, he's an underdog in the sense that no one likes him.
See, I
And
never
it's him
called him
getting the
underdog.
accept,
I mean,
and he thinks
never
about
did that.
getting acceptance.
yeah, but
I hear what
You
you're
see what I'm
saying, though.
saying?
I never did none of that though. All I'm saying is
Yeah.
that you told me he was
Yeah,
untalented.
I think most
or
people
basically,
did.
That's my bigger problem.
Yeah.
no, I understand that's not a bad point, but I'm saying that
I don't know. I
even
thought he
if
tried to get
that's the
cute with that.
case, then like I'm like no. I'm just gonna say, listen, I'm gonna let the man make a good point. He made a good argument against it. I don't agree with the argument because then that's the fault of Kishimoto for making. He didn't make that clear.
No. See,
Kishimoto
should
have
push back.
told me that this was not
Push
standard
back against the
underdog.
argument. I'll push back against the argument because if you telling me that somebody is untalented and they have to work hard and they're a failure, isn't that an underdog? That they
That could be
overcame
the.
all the circumstances?
Yep.
I'm gonna put it like this: unreliable narrator.
Okay.
Because
That's
we
his
could
fault.
then say what the mental thing is, everybody was already clouded by their preconceived notions of Naruto, thus they didn't give him the proper due diligence and chance.
But who's the unreliable narrator? Kishimoto
Everybody in the
himself?
I was gonna say everybody in
Yeah,
the village.
and then you have just bad storytelling and bad
Well,
writing
I would
from the
say
get go.
everybody in the village, right?
It's
You know,
I get where you're going with this because it kind of reminds me of how people in One Piece speak about certain things like devil fruits. Like I can't trust somebody in East Blue. You never left your damn island. What the hell you know about a devil fruit? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes and like or like if you like Monogatari, Kaiki's a con man and he tells you when he's telling his story from his perspective, you might not want to trust him. He might be
Or
lying
Naya,
to
the
you.
best overused thing in the verse. Fucking, oh, 1v1 bet on Kaido. Oda never fucking said it, people.
right?
He said people say that if it's a fight against Kaido, bet on Kaido is what they said. And the dialogue box after that was he has lost as a pirate 11 times, captured by the Marines 17 times. So where did we get this whole? It was like people literally in the East Blue. Villagers were saying, "Oh, well, bet on Kaido. If I went to Vegas, I would bet on Kaido." Doesn't mean Kaido's gonna win. It's a
Gleeper, you
good
know
bet.
these niggas can't read, bro. They only pick
Hey.
what they want to see.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like it's the same. It's the same thing. Everyone's been using that. Like Oda said it like the goddamn gospel for the last 10 years, and he never did. So, same
Yeah.
thing, right?
I have a. I want you guys to wrap up what you want to say about Naruto and Sasuke because I asked this question to lead into what I would argue becomes a huge issue that I have with the series as a result of Naruto and Sasuke. But finish your discussion if you're not done yet.
All I would say is, I mean, I personally like them. Like, I enjoy just seeing them on screen. Like,
Mhm.
I like their dynamic. Like, I really like the panel where Naruto first comes back from the time skip and he has, like, the overview of the village. And then Sasuke, when he goes back and it's, like, the opposite. And it's like, I just like the little reference like that. But I think whether or not you don't like Sasuke, like, I'm never mad at people who don't like Sasuke and Naruto. Like, they can do dumb shit. There are points in the story, even when rereading, like, I can't stand Naruto from when he first comes back from the time skip until the pain arc.
I still
Like, I
think
hate that
I
version
think
of
him versus Pain is the only time in my life where I thought he was like, yeah, he's kind of cool. It's
him.
kind of
I
cool. The
think
cloak's
the
cool. The
pain
scroll's
thing is
cool. Like, you look cool
the
here.
pain thing
The
is so
sage mode is
polarizing.
cool.
Yeah.
It's such a polarizing moment because as we were talking about, I like that he was questioned and he didn't have a question. Like, he didn't have an answer. It takes a lot for someone to just say, like, when you're put there in, like, in a circumstance and you say, I don't know what I can do. And he admitted that, and that took a lot. Not to mention, he told Pain, I can't stand you. I do want to kill you. But I want to honor the agreement, like the beliefs of those before me. That's why I won't. However, the end result and the lack of an actual answer is the problem. But
Yes.
Yeah.
I do enjoy him. Sasuke, whether or not like some of what he does is dumb, I do think everything he does makes logical sense as to why he thinks he should do it. And I actually like that we see an actual progression of Sasuke thought and the small changes to his plan of, they did this to my brother, I'm gonna kill the elders. You know, I'm gonna kill Konoha. Wait, I listened to the Hokage, heard the past of them. I'm going to then actually just take reins of the world myself and just change it. So that little progression of thought changing and actually being willing to hear new information and changing it based on that, I appreciate.
Okay. And the reason that I kind of bring this up is because one of the biggest issues I've had with this series is that I think that all things considered, I know we don't like them. I do think that the a lot of the supporting cast had a lot of intrigue. And as the focal point of the series became Naruto and Sasuke, I think all of the characters fell to the wayside as a result. There were some that still had to got moments to keep their like sense of agency. I would argue like Shikamaru and Gara, a couple characters like that. Like they still got to do their thing here and there. But I thought that because he put so much focus on what Naruto and Sasuke were doing, everybody else fell to the wayside and became almost like incompetent and inept or just like some type of weird supporter or something. And I don't like that. I hate that. I never liked that about about the series. I don't know if you
You
guys.
can throw Gara in
So
that
sort
shit
of
too.
what happened in My Hero Academia, Black Clover, everything else.
I don't know. I don't really. I don't. I'm not caught up with those right now, so I couldn't
Oh,
even.
fair,
Wait,
fair.
I have a question about do you guys think Gara should have died? They dead?
Yes.
I mean, I can say that about a lot
Yeah.
of characters. I thought Kakashi, as much as I love
Mm,
Kakashi, I thought Kakashi should have stayed dead.
I agree with that too.
Yeah. I
Actually,
don't
okay,
think Edo
no, no,
Tensei should have
I
happened.
think, I think, the Kakashi one I can understand because of Obito. So
Yeah,
like, so
but
I,
see,
so,
but
so I,
my thing
so
is
I,
the thing
so I,
with his
I
dad
hear you.
made it
I hear
different.
you though. I hear you though. I thought I thought it should have been I thought he should have been gone too. Uh,
Naya, we're back to a Byakuya point. Fangirls were mad.
I don't know.
Mm.
I personally like part one of Gara more. I'm that guy, so I don't
Nah,
know.
that's what I'm
Gara
getting
was
at
All
too.
around doing his
three
thing. I'm
chapters
not
of
mad at Gara being around and being alive, but like
Yeah, I'm not
I
that.
didn't like the idea that it was his mother saying that was more me. I was
Yeah,
so
see, I don't like that part, but I did like Gara being brought back.
meeting his dad. That
Yeah,
was cool.
okay.
Like it's fine.
Not
I'll
being
even
brought back.
admit this.
I like Gara.
I'll admit this. I
that,
don't get the mother stand shit. I
no,
still that
but
that just doesn't.
that
That
was
reminds me of,
actually
like the Harry.
yeah,
Go
it
on.
was a Harry Potter thing, but it was kind of brought it full circle. Like at least Gara had a complete like finally the father he could forgive his dad in a way. I don't know. I actually kind of like it. Even if it was
And
an
nigga gave
asshole from a
forgave his
plot device
dad.
point, it was done with a decent character, so it sort of sold me. I
Nah,
don't know.
that goes back into what I'm saying, Reaver. Like, a nigga forgive his dad. Fuck his dad. His dad was trying to have him killed.
See,
Like, what are you talking about?
I hated in part two that
No,
Gara
no,
became
I'm not saying. Well,
became
Pat,
basically Naruto 2.0. I needed him to like un- he could understand what Naruto was trying to teach and stuff like that without like coming
Nah,
in.
he didn't turn into Naruto 2.0. He turned into a Naruto cuck. Every single
yeah,
thing
he
that
did
he
a little bit.
does revolves
No,
around
but
Naruto
Pat,
now.
Pat, I was not saying that I like that happened, and it's not what I would do. I'm just saying from a character development standpoint, it was nice to see Gara get that, what for lack of a better word, closure
I hear
from
He
what
was
you,
we
kind of
understood.
and I raise you with Kishimoto being a garbage writer, creating an
Thank you.
unrealistic scenario.
Gara was
Agreed.
kind of spitting
Agreed.
during the
100%.
Hokage Summit War.
Crying.
Clink
Mm.
the glasses, Pat.
I wanna I do want to touch on this real quick about these two characters too, because me and Vince and Pat have spoken about this. I don't know if I stepped away for a little bit, so I don't know if you guys brought this up. Because actually, all things considered, when it comes to these two characters and this dynamic, when Sasuke said this to Naruto, while I didn't think that made Naruto's pain any less valid, I actually understood where he was coming from. I always thought this was a cool thing that he said to Naruto, where it's like you never had them. They
Exactly.
were taken from me by my own
Oh,
brother,
here we go.
by my own like this. Trust me, like to be completely alone is a different type of pain, which I don't think is any worse or less than Sasuke. Maybe your point of view and that's different, but I actually really liked they said that to him, like, bro, I loved my mom, I love my dad. They were there, I was around, blah blah blah. My brother killed
Fuck forgot.
everybody.
This
Fuck
must have been
forgot.
after the Bleach
That's two of the
podcast.
best
I
things.
was
That's
there for
two of the
that shit,
best
man.
things he ever said. The other ones when he actually berated Sakura at the beginning of the series for her calling him childish and shit like that. He just like you don't know anything about him. Blah 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 blah. Like you're annoying as fuck. And I was like, see, he has some good moments. Just overall, I just can't stand.
I
It's really bad. It's kind of crazy how much this manga anime is just painted by two characters. I think my biggest problem with Naruto at the end of the day, other than the theme thing, obviously, is that this manga is dominated by two personality archetypes I can't stand. The tool running around that he just aimlessly you don't know what he's doing. Now he's just mad at the world, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He's being led
And the
everywhere
guy
by
who doesn't know
everyone.
how to use the tool
And
in the
the
first
other
place.
guy who's preachy and super idealistic to the point that like it can't be shattered. Everything has to bend to his will.
you know I don't
I
think I've
just
ever
like
heard
both
someone
those
explain
things.
it like that, and I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Ooh.
everything has to be bent
Because
towards these
it
two
is very
people.
dominated by them, and if you can't like stand two characters that are dominating, like I understand it. Like that would
Yeah,
probably be
you take Team 7 out of the equation. Think about it. It's
You
kind of
even
I
have a
don't have
fucked up.
I don't
series?
have a pro- I don't have a problem with a lot of the cast of Naruto. I wanted the world to be explored more, but that's not necessarily a negative.
Yes.
I like
yeah.
a lot of the powers. The
I really
jutsus.
thought I really wish the Hugo clan was more important. I feel like he tried with Naruto the last with the what's the eye called, the Tonketsu or something like that was called. I'm sorry, it's not, 'cause
I
I
wish
can't remember.
Genkais were more important
The
in
Hugo clan
general.
I thought was gonna be more important.
Aside for the what's it call it? Aside for the Sharingan people, the Uchiha.
Yeah.
You remember their name?
Uh,
But
I think in the first half of, well, not first half, but pre-time skip, they were pretty important, and then
And then
post
it
time
fell
skip, he
off.
just kept focusing on the Sharingan and forgot everything else.
And remember, Vince wasn't here when we talked about our favorite or like the best and worst things. And I remember I said the Team 7 is the thing I hate the most about Naruto. And I think one of the best things about Naruto is the amount of decent cast of characters. Some are good, some are bad, some are mediocre, but at least it's an interesting cast of characters. And I wish we had more focus on them
Mm-hmm.
versus Team 7. Like, I could have followed any of the other teams and probably been happier.
I don't think Hinata, Kiba, and Shino were.
I don't know. I think Shino. I think the
Actually,
Abarabe
I
clan
really
had a
like
lot
that
to
team.
be explored.
Shino was, yeah, but like I don't
I
think
feel
their
I feel you
dynamic
on
was good.
on Dog Guy. I don't give a fuck about Kiba, bro.
Oh, leave Kiba alone, man.
Yeah, all right.
He likes a
But
dog. The people who like dogs aren't bad people.
Nah,
yeah,
I'll
I
never
don't like.
forgive
I
Kiba
don't.
because he was the only one that got his ass whooped on the fucking Sasuke retrieval mission.
he got farted in
Everybody
the
else
face,
was
man.
hooping.
I couldn't take him seriously after he got he got beat by a punch.
oh
He
no,
was farting.
I've always liked that two-headed dog transformation.
Well, hey, wait a
I
minute.
did,
Wait a
I
minute.
did.
Wait a
I
minute.
like the guy
You
he
want a
fought too.
real?
Sakon,
You want a real
Sakon was
underdog?
like,
There's
I
a
like
dude with
Sakon
no
using a
talent
rope.
losing.
Huh?
I just
We were
said
talking
there's
at the same time.
you wanted a real underdog. There's a guy with no talent losing. That's
Yeah, that is real.
accurate. That's realistic.
Him fighting Sakon and Sakon using Orochimaru's gates. I'm like, man, see, look. I'm like, do you see the
Show 'em.
versatility of Orochimaru, bro? Look at all these jutsus he created. He even giving other people jutsus to use. And then I'm just like, I'm expecting that with a whole lot of people, and it just didn't happen.
Orochimaru is pretty fantastic.
He just uses
It's
snakes
pretty
though,
cool.
low
But
key.
I was gonna say, if we go back to the now you said the thing about the you never had them.
Yeah.
And I remember we had this conversation like off stream Griever, and I did think of a new point where you said, since Naruto did get used to and adapted to it, it's a little more painful for Sasuke, right?
Because
Yeah.
because he had a
Remember
jarring
that
change
story?
in his already life. Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, it's sad to know that a kid never grows up to know their mom and dad, and we see that every single day in the real world. But having your parents murdered in front of you when you've already known and grown to love them and they take care of you and blah blah blah. I'm sorry, the one with the kid, the 10-year-old with the parents murdered in front of them, way more traumatic than the kid that never even knew them. You can't miss what you never had.
But remember
I
that.
can't miss $1 million.
But
Okay.
I've never had
but
$1 million.
my only pushback is that remember that at the very least Sasuke was kind of he didn't really care. But at the very least, people saw him. Oh, he's talented. Oh, Sasuke Uchiha. Oh, girls like
People
him.
still
Yada
love
yada. And
Sasuke.
nobody gave a fuck about Naruto. He on that
Bro,
swing by
Naruto-
himself.
That's a
Like,
fault
yeah, that's
on
what
the
I'm saying.
like,
village, not
like,
Sasuke.
my
Naruto
I
did his
like.
thing
I'm
by
not
himself.
telling you anyone is better or worse. I just think they're different
I
types
think
of pain.
I think they're exactly equal. Like I think Naruto wasn't only shunned, which does a lot for a kid literally growing up and having no one around him, but like he was hated for a reason that he did not know. Like he
Yeah.
couldn't even ask or
Shout out
begin to
Saratobi.
understand. Imagine just walking on the street and people are just spitting at you, and you're just like,
No, dude,
You
you
know
know
what I
what Naruto is doing in that moment? Naruto is your parents from the 90s basically saying, when you won't finish your dinner, there are kids starving in Africa, and Sasuke's like, I am the kid starving in Africa.
Damn.
That is literally what is happening right now, and Sasuke's not wrong to say, you cannot compare our situations, you asshat.
but
Shut up.
But this is what I would also say with the Naruto thing, where just because he endured it doesn't make the actual event any less impactful, right? Like let's just say this, right? Let's
Not
say
saying it's not sad, just so
yeah,
clear.
but I'm saying let's say two people, right? They both lose their parents, right? one person can acclimate to trauma better than the other.
Sure.
Just because that person is used to it and can handle that doesn't make the actual event any less traumatic than the other.
That's well taken.
Agreed.
So
No,
with
well
that, with
said.
Naruto, just because Naruto kind of got adjusted to that pain, and he kind of really did, and he was putting on a hard front. But
He was doing shit for attention.
yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't
But-
make the event of him never having anybody like
I'm not.
any
No,
less. Like,
I'm not
You know what I'm
saying
saying?
it's not traumatic. I'm
No, I
not
know you're
saying I'm not saying he's not dealing with shit. I'm saying that you literally cannot miss what you've never known to have. That's just a fact. And
Yeah,
Sasuke
my
knew
point
loving
of
parents. Naruto
my-
never did.
my point of contention is always been that Naruto was trying to talk to Sasuke like he understood where he was coming from, and he did.
Right. And he
And that's
can't.
what made Sasuke mad. And it was
Right.
very obnoxious and pretentious for him to do that. Because just because you know a similar type of pain doesn't mean that it's the same thing.
I would
So
agree to
because
that.
they both knew loneliness, okay, you could connect with him on that front. But you can't be like, I know exactly what you're going through. Bitch, you didn't have no fucking parents. Like, that shit would piss me off. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? I saw the person that I looked up to the most in this world kill my parents. Like,
Yeah.
Shit, our parents, nigga. Damn. So
But okay,
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Pat's not wrong.
But I will say this: it's not necessarily that Naruto doesn't know what he's missing, because he doesn't. It's not like this event lives in a vacuum. He can visually see what he's missing by looking at the other kids in his class
yep.
hanging out with his parents, by going around the village and seeing people happy, experience like doing like little events, going to dinner, doing these things that he doesn't have, right? Like if he
Dude,
was like
that's just
if he was in a
envy.
if he was in the forest, then yeah, like if he was like Inosuke, right? Inosuke never really had like Inosuke really doesn't get after it, because
Board gang.
that concept of parents and people low key doesn't exist to him. Those concepts do exist to Naruto, because Naruto can see and he lives in an environment where everybody else but him has it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's all
It's
well
like if
taken.
like everybody had a car and you had to walk like everywhere, like 50 miles a day, like somewhere.
I
You'd be
mean,
like, "Ah,
I
fuck it."
understand your like as far as I'm gonna pull a nice statement here. I understand the argument, but it did not move me.
No,
It did not.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this, Miles. I don't see any as more painful as the other. You say it's equal. I just think the pains are different,
Yeah.
personally speaking.
I think
Like,
they're equal but different. Yeah.
yeah.
But then
Yeah.
I will make the argument Pat made. It's arrogant of Naruto to then.
Oh, but
compare the
Naruto
pain.
had
I
that
agree.
has always
I
had that
agree.
problem. Like,
I agree.
Neji, nigga, I'm a slave. Oh shit, my bad. Like,
Yeah.
Naruto just has that problem. All right, I want to get to the last two. I want to get to the last two topics. I'm hungry. All right, so I actually want to tie these two together because I've been seeing a lot more Boruto talk on my timeline. And just quickly, I don't know if anyone here keeps up at all, but Pat, this kind of comes to something you've been saying earlier, where you're like, I don't see enough hatred. I see a lot of people switching up. Do you think the discussion around the series is changing
Yes.
in a more positive light, in your opinion?
Yes. They're talking about this shit like it's good, and it's making me mad.
Speak on it.
These niggas have the utter nerve, gall, and audacity to keep trying to put this in the same vein as One Piece, and it's making me upset. I don't care if you're not enjoying Wano or whatever the fuck. When you look at the entire body of work between One Piece and Naruto, there is no discussion. One Piece's heads, shoulders, and leagues above Naruto. That
I
shit
don't know
needs
why I
to
thought you
stop.
said knees and toes.
Naruto not
Sorry.
even better than Bleach.
I like Bleach more.
I like.
You
I
can
like
go crazy. You already know how I feel.
I like Bleach more.
Go.
Do you think it
Shit
has
needs to
it has to
stop.
do with Boruto? I saw a tweet the other
Yes.
day with
Yes.
Boruto, and I said, "What did I tweet? This is the worst shit ever I ever seen." I have to find the tweet what I said, because somebody tried to kind of make I guess make a general point of why Boruto should be very interesting to everybody,
It's not.
especially if they're a Naruto fan. But somebody speak while I look for it. have to
I
find
think
the
it's
tweet.
because people use Naruto as like a reasoning as to like why you should like it. So it's like if people like Boruto, it's like, well, we have to now hype up Naruto to make it even better. Boruto
Okay,
just
makes
sucks.
sense.
Boruto sucks, bro. I'm sorry. I stopped reading after the Kurama died shit because I really feel like that was spitting in the face of everybody that ever read Naruto, truly.
Okay, so I
And
found
the
the tweet.
Otsutsuki are
Mhm.
the most boring villains I have ever seen in the entirety of anime and
Aliens
manga.
versus
They
ninjas.
suck. Oh my god, they suck. They are uninteresting. The main character, Jigen, can shrink himself.
Cool.
Cool. Like, why is that? Why is this guy like the main villain? Why is the guy that can shrink himself? Like, why should I care? Why should I care about this guy?
Big whoop. I seen Bulma and Venom watch that can shrink themselves. That ain't nothing new.
This shit's mid, and all the groups suck. None of them are interesting. This is the thing you like Boruto fans I hate. Like, it's the only time Boruto is talked about is when Naruto and Sasuke are on screen. That is telling that your show sucks. It can't stand on its own.
Yeah.
No one likes Boruto.
So this tweet reads: the Atsuki clan are the reason how the Naruto series exists. Essentially, how do haters find it boring to explore the clan that's responsible for chakra, dojutsu, etc.? The Karma Seal is a fascinating lore in the Boruto verse, and I said this is
No,
the
it's
worst shit
not.
I ever seen, dog. That's what.
That's
I'll
nuts.
I'll tell you what's wrong with that stupid argument because
The tweet's been deleted.
the Otsutsuki clan is one of the biggest problems of Naruto
Yep.
because they were introduced to us at the very end of the series, and then all of a sudden Kaguya came out and was the final antagonist, and we
Here's
knew nothing about her the whole series.
here's
Shout
the
out to
thing.
Kaguya, man.
The thing is, I'm not saying you can have her at the end. She shouldn't be in the end. But you can still have Kaguya exist and not be an Otsutsuki. She could have just been some random chick that ate a takufu, and that's how it all. But you didn't need to go into like some.
Nah, man, we all
lore
aliens,
depth
bro.
thing. We don't need a lore depth thing about a different alien race in Naruto. Like you don't have to overcomplicate something that no one cares about. It didn't have to be like that. And sometimes you don't need explanations for powers in series. Honestly, you don't. You don't need to know why. Like, I live in a world where like people have powers. Cool. Like that's it. You don't really need shit sometimes. It's not that deep. They suck.
Yeah, I think they're awful. But I do think that part of the reason because Boruto was there and like certain things happen like the death of Kurama and I think is it called Baryon mode?
Yeah.
The nuclear
Horrible
physics thing,
transformation.
stuff like that, where like I think people kind of look back and then I see a bunch of ooh Cybo. I'm like, oh my god, stop it. Like I'm with Pat where I see some people doing some nasty like oh you know what actually I'm like no you was right the first time or like I don't know I tie it to Boruto personally because usually when I see a bunch of Naruto talking about timeline become very positive it's because something significant I suppose happened in Boruto, which is why I wanted to bring up anyone here cared about it at all because I haven't aside from the movie the episode that adapts the fight with is his name Momoshiki
That's
when
actually a cool
Naruto
fight in the
when
anime,
Naruto
I'm
and
not gonna
Sasuke
lie.
fight against from the movie though, but like the episode like okay, and then I seen the 10 chapters with Shin Uchiha, I believe his name was.
Yeah.
So that's the only Boruto content that I guess you could say I've consumed, but I really have like I wish I could explain how this interesting. I don't even care like at all. Like
Nah, see,
even
this is the
Super,
problem with
it was just
people.
not
People
good.
do this shit
Go
a
ahead.
lot.
Mhm.
Like, no, it ties into what you were just about to say. Like, just because one series is good doesn't mean that the other series that is a derivative of it is also good. And well,
Agreed.
in this case, Naruto sucks to me. So because Naruto sucks, Boruto's gonna suck regardless because it's based off Naruto. But with like Dragon Ball, I like Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball Z, which basically is the same thing, but Toei just split it. Just because I like Dragon Ball Z doesn't mean Dragon Ball GT is good. Dragon Ball GT sucks. And I
Or
hate when
Super.
people try to do revisionist history for it, be like, well, actually, GT wasn't that bad. No, it sucks. It has one or two cool concepts, but that doesn't make it good.
See, this is always a thing though that always comes back to revisionist history. Naruto was the first thing that I've seen people do this for. So actually, this has been happening for a long time.
Mhm.
This Naruto discussion been happening for like 6 years. It'll never die. But this is kind of a thing too that happens when like people like us who were actually around, alive, and well when the series was ongoing, and then people who are just now getting into it. It's a completely different. I think that boosted like the very first time you and me had this discussion. Like when the series is over and you don't get to hear about any of the ongoing discussion and the years and the time that we all waited for certain events to happen and watching it happen as ongoing as he was writing it out, it's just different. You don't have the same problems with stuff. Like Pat, you, me, Nye, and most of us in here, I think we sat through it ongoing week to week as it was happening. And we were like, yo, what the hell is this? What is this guy doing? And then we were just like, yeah, because like the whole thing of like the ending of Naruto, everybody's like, oh, the ending doesn't suck because the end of the war is not the ending of Naruto. Therefore, the ending of Naruto doesn't suck.
Oh, people use that as an
Boo. Yep,
excuse?
yep. Boo.
Yeah,
Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes.
Oh,
Because
wow.
because
I
I
didn't know that.
believe it or not, I've used that argument before to defend Korra, where I'm like the conflict with Kuvira on how that ends is awful. But like Sami and her like walking to the spirit realm, I'm like whatever. I don't think that the conclusion didn't really bother me.
I
But
think
the,
I love Korra too.
so I've actually used that argument in my own way, but that wasn't moving me. I'm like, no, bro, this everyone coupled up, that's not moving me. So
that's what people do. But but like I said, you reading that week to week, come on.
yeah.
You were sitting there and just like, this is okay. Nobody was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like,
With that all being said, y'all got any final words?
nah, I came in late.
Yeah, final
The people,
word.
people who listen to this probably gonna hate me.
I guess my last thing would just be I think the Naruto art's really, really good. That's all.
Oh, Naruto art. Oh yeah. I mean, okay. No, there's
Yeah, I
there's
like the art.
there's a lot of good panels that I, in hindsight, like I remember when Pat was talking about the part with Sasuke with the chakra, the Chidori. There we go. The Chidori and his flesh was coming off, and against the wall. Like, no, there's a lot of really,
Yes.
really, really good ones. It's my least favorite art of the big three, personally speaking. But I don't know if it's bad. I don't know. It's serviceable. It does its job to me. I don't look at Naruto art with any like. But there were a couple of those earlier like color spreads that were pretty dope though. That I actually did like in color I ended up saving a couple of them. There's some good ones. The one with
You got the
Neji
ones I
with,
you
with,
got
with his big ass scroll. And he has like his fingers up.
Yeah.
I like that
you
one.
got all the ones I sent you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I mean, I would say one of the big problems for me of it
Mhm.
being the big three as a final thought is just the fact that I think that's the problem is that Naruto for me is not necessarily but to call it a part of the big three is like
It's got the sales, man.
you know what I mean? I
It is
guess
part of the big three.
I think with Naruto, it's like my last would be like with Naruto. The same thing with Bleach. It's just I invested so much emotional time investment into it, and I just think it let me down. And ultimately, in the end, like
Yeah,
years of
that-
like it lets
that's
me
what I'm
down.
saying. Like
Yeah.
I can think of series that are far superior during the same time period, and I'm like, Naruto being. I know it is part of the big three. It always will be, but it's sort of like it never really deserved that title as far as the level of manga that was written. That's just me, but I think that's why I
so
judge
you're
it more
saying
harshly.
it doesn't measure up to the same standard as the other two, is what
Right.
you're
It
saying.
does. It's nowhere
Yeah.
near the Bleach or One Piece level as far as I'm concerned. But that's once again just my opinion.
No, you're 100% right.
Yeah. But that means.
Um,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll just say almost everything before the time skip I like to love. I think the best arc in the series happened before the time skip with Sasuke retrieval, and then Shippuden for the most part is boring. And then when like Pain gets involved and like Sasuke fights Itachi, that's when it like heats the fuck up. And then after that, it just spirals into garbage. Like it spikes back up in a 5 Kage summit, and then it just goes into the wayside and progressively gets worse and worse.
Okay. Vince, anything you want to say?
I mean, at this point, like I said, my biggest problem with the series is just I just don't really like the two main people that are like the bosses.
Yeah.
But
And
other
like,
than that,
yeah, and it goes to say like sometimes like I do think it matters that if some things don't resonate with you on a real world level, it's just not gonna hit. Like, I don't think
yeah,
anything wrong
this
with
was a
that.
series that made me. This was a series that made me realize that. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that about myself until like got into the series at like, well, I've been doing my whole entire life, but as I was getting older and the characters were getting older, I realized that I was like, yeah, I don't like Naruto. I don't like this one. And I never liked Sasuke like that. He had cool moments, but I never really liked him.
Mhm.
But
All
yeah,
right.
but I don't have a big problem with this. I mean, people who probably watch this are probably gonna end up hating me.
Nah, no, man. Whatever, bro. Grow up.
They,
It is
they
what
knew
it
what
is.
time it
This
was.
wasn't even that
What's
amazing.
what's next month's History Month then?
Yeah, that's true.
This
I've
is
been
over.
worse.
I was actually gonna ask you guys. Do you guys want to do Dragon Ball next?
Dragon Ball?
Mhm.
I'm good with it.
I'm always down for Dragon Ball.
Well, we just
Yeah.
reread that, so
That's
yeah,
for
I could-
sure.
Would
that
that would
seems
that
like
include everything?
Dragon Ball the manga.
So
Dragon Ball,
that's
that's-
basically
Dragon Ball the
Super.
manga
Dragon Ball Z
ends
and
at
Dragon Ball
ends at
the
the
manga.
Buu saga with the Oob stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The anime split it into Dragon Ball Z. Just like
Yeah,
the way
it's
Naruto, the
Bulma
Naruto
Stronger
Shippuden, but there's just Naruto the manga. Just like there's just Dragon Ball the manga. It's not actually Dragon Ball
Right.
Z the manga.
Dragon Ball the manga is Kid Goku seeing Bulma flashing her panties all the way to the end of the Buu saga.
And playing with Oob.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. But all right. Goodbye. Orochimaru the best.